It is Wednesday morning at the Scotties in Red Deer. Just 2 days remain of round-robin action before we find out who plays on the weekend. It's a crucial Wednesday of curling at the Scotties. With just 6 draws remaining, numerous teams are still in the hunt for a playoff spot. For those on top, wins now will have you sitting pretty come the weekend. For those in a congested mid-pack, winning now is the only option. Who can dig deep and who will slide away? Wednesday from Red Deer, the 2012 Scotties continues. Red Deer is certainly hockey country, but I'll tell you what, over the last 2 days, it has certainly been curling country, and we've been treated world class here at the NMAX Centrium as we welcome you inside and show you what happened last night. Draw 11, and a crucial game here for BC's Kelly Scott, trying to stay near the leaders atop the pack, and it's been a tough grind for this BC team. Kelly has not been feeling well, flu bug going around, but what a final stone. Little run back, taps out the yellow, and a celebration for this BC team as they knock off Newfoundland and Labrador. 11-7 was the final. Meantime, not as successful for Team Canada and Amber Holland. Give Quebec credit. They really battled in this game. Final stone for Amber, needing to draw in for the win in extra ends. And it wasn't even close. The weight just not there, so it was a steal for Quebec as Marie-France LaRouche ended up taking the victory and keeping her playoff hopes alive. To be honest, for the first time in a long time, on a Wednesday morning, everybody's actually still alive and has a shot to make the playoffs. Team Canada, BC, Manitoba leading the way at 5-2, and then a log jam of teams at 4-3. And as we welcome Kathy Gauthier into the Centrium this morning, Kathy, everyone still in the hunt. And unless your name, though, is Amber Holland, nobody has won the Scotties since 2005 unless your name is Jennifer Jones or Kelly Scott. And they go head-to-head again this morning.
It's such a great rivalry. They played each other a lot over the years. Jennifer and her team usually get rolling as the week goes on. We've talked so much about the Oscars this week. This team is in great shape. They are the All-Stars. They were last year, and look at this, top at every single position. Jill at +5. She is just kicking butt.
Unfortunately, BC not in great shape. We're not talking about the skill set. We're talking about that flu bug going around. Kelly Scott not feeling well. Sasha Carter has already missed a few games, and Sasha will not be in the lineup once again today.
Well, and really unfortunate because even though Kelly made the big shots last night, Sasha set her up again and again with some great freezes. Daleen Sievertson, a good player, but does not have that chemistry with Kelly.
And we know Daleen, she holds the broom, but usually throws the second stones. Well, today the rookie has to step up as she's throwing third rocks once again. And what a battle we have. 2 former champions going head-to-head. Jones, Scott, first rock next from Red Deer.
The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by Cashmere Bathroom Tissue. Nothing feels like cashmere. The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by World Financial Group, proud to be a sponsor of the Season of Champions. Your dreams, our strategies. By Roll Up the Rim to Win. It's time for Tim's. And by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Every game means something this morning at the NMAX Centrium as we show you what's going on. New Brunswick will face Team Ontario. A lineup change there. Jody DeSola has an injury. Jeanette Murphy, their 5th, will play. Team Canada will face Nova Scotia. Of course, Heather Smith-Dacey trying to keep her playoff hopes alive with a victory. On Sheet C, our feature matchup, Manitoba taking on British Columbia. And some lineup changes there we'll get to shortly. Saskatchewan also going head-to-head with Alberta. Both teams 4-3, and both of those teams trying to find themselves in the playoffs as well. Not a lot of handshakes this week, not because they don't want to, because of the flu bug going around. So they're trying to just play it safe. And it is time to meet the teams. It's brought to you by Ford. Drive one. Team Manitoba out of the St. Vital Curling Club in Winnipeg, of course, skipped by Jennifer Jones. 3rd, Caitlin Laws. 2nd, Jill Officer. And lead Don Askin. As mentioned, that flu bug going around, it's really affected British Columbia so far out of the Kelowna Curling Club. You see Kelly Scott is the skip. You see Sherry Fraser actually is coming in now. She's going to play third and throw third rocks. And then you have Daleen Sievertson throwing second stones, Jackie Armstrong at lead. Daleen, of course, does hold the broom usually when Kelly Scott is throwing her stones. And there's a look at the two skips, two former champs. There's the rock colors, Manitoba, the red stones, British Columbia, the yellow stones. It is Team Manitoba with the hammer. And as we've gotten these lineups finally sorted out, Kathy Gauthier throwing lead stones for Team BC is Jackie Armstrong.
Well, sending out great wishes to Sasha. I talked to her last night as she was walking onto the ice, and Daleen said this morning she's not worse, but she's still feeling really weak and tired. Going to hopefully play tonight. But they've elected to utilize their fifth man in Sherry Fraser. And interesting in the lineup, Brian, in terms of where they have put her. They put her in a spot where they're trying to keep the players, Daleen and Jackie, in their roles that they're the most comfortable with. And that's probably an influence very much by Jerry Richards, the coach, and trying to find some consistency on a team where there has been some illness.
Line's good. You want it fairly tight, I think. I'd like it to curl a bit. Line's good. You want it tight. That's good. That's good. That's good. Let it go.
Well, Kathy, we know the game plan is to not get sick out there and avoid that flu, but what do these teams have to do?
Well, Manitoba has some great history against Kelly Scott. Kelly Scott has the advantage when you look at it. Manitoba needs to change that. Her team, top amongst all. Take some chances. Be the aggressive team that you are. For BC, started the week really, really aggressive. Got into some trouble. Kelly's going back to what got her to the show, got her to a world championship title. It's working for her. Don't go crazy. And, of course, she's got a +4 in head-to-head against Jennifer over the years. Build on that knowledge that you kind of have her number a little bit.
And the game plan is brought to you by World Financial Group. Your dreams are strategies. And, Kathy, for those that don't understand maybe what the +4 means, can you give us some insight as to those numbers and how they stack up?
Well, they would have looked at history of matches between Kelly Scott and Jennifer Jones, not the teams, but individually. And in all of those meetings, Kelly Scott outshot Jennifer Jones by at least 5% in at least 4 of those outings. They went head-to-head 9 times at Canadian Scotties Championships.
Nice shot, Don. Good shot.
Great shot because it gets behind the corner guard. Manitoba has last rock in this first end.
If anything, maybe not quite as much glide with this.
Okay.
And as mentioned, the lineup changes. Daleen Sievertson.
And it's a really telling story. Her percentages are much higher when she plays second than when she plays third. She is a very nice young curler, provincial champion as a junior, but her role to hold the broom and be consistent in the house for Kelly is really key. Doesn't need to throw third stones to be able to do that. And I think that's why Jerry Richards has Sherry Fraser throwing third stones today, in recognizing that she's much stronger when she's in the position that she's the most comfortable with.
And a nice shot there as Daleen tucks that one. Just touching 8 foot, buried. Kathy, traditionally, what are the differences when you're throwing the second stones or the third stones?
It's, you know, a lot of the shots are the same. It is the complexity at third. As we look at Jill, known very much for her big hit weight. As a second, you're making a lot of big hits. You're clearing. You're trying to make things go away because of the free guard zone and the chances your team may have taken. At third, you're playing lots of hack weights. You're playing bumper weights. You're playing very specific draws. And you're also often with the whole broom scenario. Now, that's out of the way for Sherry Fraser because Daleen does call it. And this young lady is the one that will actually make the decisions in the house for sweeping for Kelly Scott. But it really is the complexity. And in her first Scotties, it's just one less thing that she has to worry about.
3 for line. Here it comes. Got to get up to center.
Okay.
3, 4. You can bring it if you... Okay. Let it finish. We're almost... Get ready. Get ready. No, you're okay for line. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Way to go.
Get him all. Firm.
You know, Kathy, even more remarkable, you talked about Manitoba and their numbers off the top, all all-star numbers. Keep in mind, Jill Officer missed a lot of time this year, of course, had a little baby, and now is back competing and hasn't missed a beat.
No, she certainly hasn't. Her first competitive game this year was the provincial Scotties in Manitoba. Had a baby 3 months ago, baby Cameron. A lot of work, obviously, since she was able to come back and play, to be able to come to the Canadian Championship and play at that very high level.
And there you see Sherry Fraser throwing the third stones now, coming in for Sasha Carter. BC, by the way, was 1-1 with Fraser at second. Severson third. They beat Canada 7-5, lost to Nova Scotia 8-7.
Yep, yeah, line, gotta go. 7, gotta go. Hard, hard, hard. Go, hard for weight, go. Okay, whoa, just need almost 8 foot, that's all. Line's tough. Beauty, Cher.
That almost overcurls a little bit.
Well, a nice start for Sherry. It is tough when you come in as a fifth. You kind of mentally think, I might play, I might not. All of a sudden you're thrust into the second role. Now you're playing the third role. She's a very active fifth when you look across this field, and the fact that she's sort of moving positions. Often you'll say to your fifth, you know, if somebody goes down, you'll go in as lead, or if somebody gets hurt, you'll go in as second, but she really is moving. And a nice start.
Line's good.
Pretty crazy, Kathy, at this year's Scotties. Usually they try to get the fifths in to get the jewelry, of course, that comes with playing at this event if you play enough games, but they've really had to rely on the fifths a ton so far.
Which is why it's so critical in selecting your fifth that you choose wisely.
Hard! Keep the line. Go, go, go. Good, Caitlin.
Caitlin Laws, a quiet tap.
Thought we had to go, actually.
You know, with those stones spread out, Jennifer knows that the easy deuce, that one that's behind the corner guard, isn't going to come into play. Now it's the freeze with Caitlin to get 2.
Yep.
Sherry being asked to pick it out.
Fraser, of course, does have Scotties experience. Was a second in 95, also played in 97 out of BC.
Hard. Watch your roll.
Sherry, of course, has been a skip for sure, not at this level. But she has skipped and will roll to...
Looks like it's second still.
I think it is.
Go 8.
I think I can throw it. We'll definitely left.
Biggest objective was to get rid of that red stone, and she does. Severson sweeping it over because she thought maybe it would come down to the red one, and Jennifer sweeping it over just to get it out of there.
Line's tight. Okay. We can go. Wait, close. You gotta go. Line only. Wait only. Whoa. Wait only. Where are ya? You gotta go, line. You gotta go. Hard line. Go. Yep.
We gotta go.
Okay, good.
Caitlin really has had so much success as a junior and made her transition to women's very easily. So square. Really a great example of a solid delivery right behind the rock. Eyes are straight up all the time. Don't drop to look at the rock as so many players do until she lets go of it and stays square behind the stone. That's why her numbers are so high. She throws it very pure.
Speed's good.
Looking for then that side yellow so it's not like a pocket to run something to. Okay. Offset them a bit.
Yeah.
And Kelly Scott, her first here in one, had a chance to chat with Kelly, and she was not feeling great even yesterday. Said she had about a 7-hour flu, had a bit of a headache, was feeling a little bit nauseous, but, you know, give these ladies credit for coming out. Don't get a chance to come here very often to the Scotties, and you want to make the most of your opportunity. Mind you, for some teams, it seems they're here pretty much every year. Kelly Scott, one of them.
Keep it going. Line's good.
Right on the team. Hard.
Nice weight. Didn't get the finish that they thought it would, or the ice that they took.
Cheers, great guys.
I'm gonna go curly
Here. This is where I gave you for your draw. Out there.
Soft, but
A live look now over on Sheet B between Team Canada and Team Nova Scotia. Obviously, for Heather Smith-Dacey, this a must-win situation. Amber Holland, meantime, trying to forget about last night and that extra end loss to Quebec, her final stone.
Well, there is a stone that is buried belonging to Nova Scotia, so for Amber, needs the 4-foot here in this first end.
Nice to see Tammy Schneider back in the lineup. There you see Kalinchuk helping her with the brush. Of course, Tammy had a bit of a spill herself and tweaked her knee, but she is back, and so is Amber Holland this morning with great draw weight as she finds the button, and a 1-0 lead for Team Canada after one. Meantime, in her feature game, Jennifer Jones, her rock on the way.
Clean it. Back 12.
Through. No, it's through. Through weight.
Clean it. Whoa. 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 Whoa, Caitlin. Whoa.
Good. Almost hack, actually. Good, Jen. It's good.
Kathy, when they were saying through weight, are they referring to the fact the rock would just go through, and then I think you heard Jen say no, it may be hack weight, and that implying that the rock would have stopped near the hack?
They were just, Jill is communicating the speed at which it's going, meaning if we don't make contact with it, it's going through. It's not that it's light, just so that Caitlin was aware. She certainly did.
Because if we do jam it,
Show
then
her the
at least
path.
kind of take the shooter over.
Kelly had a just chance to see Jennifer throw in this pass, so taking very similar ice.
Back line. Clean.
Clean. Close.
Close.
Close. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Room.
Whoa.
Room.
Whoa.
Room. Room.
No.
Low on the shooter. Good, Cal. Great shot, Cal. Okay. Nice. That works. Good job. Good girl.
Mission accomplished for Kelly Scott here in this first end without last rock. Will force Jennifer Jones to hit and stick for one.
The 10. Okay, let's go. Get in.
So Jennifer Jones, four-time Scotties champ, final stone here in one. A hit for her single. And there it is, right in the nose. So Team Manitoba picks up one. And Kelly Scott of BC has the hammer when we return.
Want to win a 2-year lease on a 2012 Ford Focus S? You can log on to fordhotshots.curling.ca and test your online curling skills. And for every participant at this year's Scotties, they also had a chance to win a lease on this 2012 Ford Focus Titanium by testing their on-ice curling skills. The final, a battle of skips. Newfoundland's Heather Strong against Northwest Territories Yukon's Carrie Galusha. And thanks to shots like this, the hit and stick right to the button, Galusha is your winner, winning a 2-year lease on a 2012 Ford Focus Titanium. Don't forget to log on to fordhotshots.curling.ca for your chance to win. And just like Carrie Galusha, you too could drive away in a brand new Ford.
As we mentioned off the top, every game so crucial this morning because every team is still in the hunt for the playoffs as we check in on Team Alberta. There you see Heather Nedewin settling into the hack, taking on Saskatchewan. Her final stone as she's drawing against a couple of stones from Michelle Englot.
Well, for sure, she needs to get to the hearts for the one, but even if she can get to the 4-foot, Brian would cut down the deuce in this first end.
Chatted with Heather Nedewin yesterday, said she was enjoying being in her home province and didn't feel the pressure, was actually feeding off the crowd. Unfortunately, not coming through here, so that's a steal of 2 for Saskatchewan. And an early lead, 2-0 after 1. And right next door, you'll see our feature game on Sheet C between Jennifer Jones and Manitoba. Kelly Scott, Team BC. It was Jennifer Jones, the hit for 1 in the first, with action underway here in 2 at the NMAX Century. I'm in right here.
Well, to get you caught up, it was BC throwing the corner guard. Manitoba went in. BC threw the corner guard. Dawn threw it nice and tight. And BC tried to get around, bounced off. And that is the stone that Jill is now going to try to remove.
Weight's good. Maybe a little strong. Whoa. Strong. Clean. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Sorry, Jill. It's fine, Jill.
And is just a little bit of a missed call. Was hoping that it would stick out and Christmas tree it almost a little bit, so they weren't able to get to the shot stone and weren't able to get to the second one. Kelly, though, is not playing the shot stone. She's asking Daleen to play the double off the front, maybe even get the triple.
Room now. Whoa, off, Jack. Clean. Yep. Go hard. Hard. Whoa. Beauty. Way to go.
Nice double from Daleen.
You want it tight?
Speed should be...
Kind of like going this way.
okay
We know the
here.
line
Yeah.
better.
Fine here.
Really tight right now. Hey, tight on its own right now. Line's good.
Whoa, easy, guys.
Easy. Sweep for tight. Line's good. Easy. Sweep for tight. Line's good. We're going to overcut if anything. Okay, whoa. Just tight, guys. Just no. Whoa, guys. No. Sit. Nice job. Same throw. 8-8.
Same shot for Daleen in terms of the bigger weight hit being asked for by Kelly Scott. She throws this kind of weight really well, trying to run that stone back and pick off the shot stone.
Yep. Whoa. Close. Yep.
Runs it back.
Good pair.
And will indeed get both.
Beauty, Celine.
It's another great reason why she's playing second. I think Jerry Richards made a great choice this morning. Leaves her in a position she's comfortable with. Throws that big weight really well that you need to at second. You need someone like her to go toe-to-toe with Jill, because we showed you Jill's numbers, +5. So far, absolutely doing just that.
Caitlin Laws in her second Scotties.
Line's good. Whoa, if you can.
Told me yesterday, really enjoying the experience once again. Of course, made it all the way to the final last year, before eventually losing to Amber Holland.
Wait only. Line's no, we gotta go hard. Keep her going. Good, Caitlin.
I don't mind that, Cher.
Okay.
9.
And there you see on the scoreboard there some other scores from around the sheets this morning.
Yeah.
Sherry trying to angle their own guard onto the shot stone.
Your weight up with her tail.
I think from that reaction, we can assume that rock is biting the house.
9.
Well, Jennifer must feel pretty confident that it is, or she would not be asking Caitlin to remove it. Haven't seen a whole lot way out here.
Yeah! Whoa! Hard! Whoa! Yes! Hard! Great hard! Whoa! Sorry, Caitlin.
And the shooter does spill out.
Pretty tough to stick around on those, especially when you're just trying to figure out what the ice does way out there first thing in the morning. But that rollout leaves BC a great chance. All three guards up front belong to BC, and two of them very, very close. So for Sherry Fraser, had great weight in one. See if she has it in two as well.
I'd like to go line, guys.
Yep, gotta go for line.
Hey, you can clean it. Just clean. Yep. Come on. Hard. Okay, clean. Okay, off now. You got 4 foot, Jack?
No, not quite.
Look at that warp.
Way to go, Cher.
That's insane. Well, we talk about the head-to-heads, Brian. Here's the great examples. The RR refers to the round-robin plays and then the playoff. And the arrows show you who is out-shooting who. And in many cases, Kelly Scott outshot Jennifer by a ton. Look at those 60s. Those are uncharacteristic Jennifers, but we've seen them twice already this week. Twice Jennifer outshot Kelly, but the advantage for sure when they've gone head-to-head has been for Kelly Scott. +4 overall. We talked about that in the beginning. That's 5% or better than your opponent. Some pretty nice numbers.
And we talked about their successes, Kathy, off the top. I mean, since basically 2005, it's been these two teams winning the national championships. And overall, their 10th meeting going ahead at the Scotties. Scott with a 5-4 record coming into this morning's action.
Let's go, Jen. We're going right around if we can.
Yeah, but just sweep for the top 4, really.
Let's go.
Corner frozen is not bad.
Okay.
I could go a little bit.
Okay.
Line's good. 8 foot. Line's great. Gotta go.
Okay, you're gonna have to move.
Hold on.
Line's really good.
You're gonna have to move.
8 foot. 4 foot.
Whoa.
Here's where the move starts.
Whoa. 8 foot. Go, 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 go.
And as we watch Jennifer Jones' stone settle here in our feature matchup, we peek over at Sheet A, New Brunswick, Ontario. Second end. And the young team from Ontario, all of them rookies. And the final stone here on the way from Tracy Horgan.
Well, there certainly is a path, a hole between the top stone and the guard. If she can get through there, this would be a hit for 2.
Of course, for Team New Brunswick, it is Rebecca Atkinson now calling the game. Andrea Kelly still throwing final stones. There you see Andrea in the house, and there you see the hit as they look things over to see how many.
I would have done the same.
Definitely one. And it is 2 for Ontario. So Tracy Horgan out of Sudbury with an advantage after 2.
Well, in our feature sheet, Jennifer had really nice weight. It was definitely taking that swoop, but it took a little bit longer because of the weight, a little bit more than Kelly Scott. So it did not finish. Kelly Scott can see about half of that from the hack, so just wants to play it to tap it back.
9. Clean. Yeah, line. Clean.
Whoa.
10.
Yeah.
Clean.
10. Yeah.
Clean. Yeah, hard.
This is the weights teams have said is the hardest to throw because it does warp.
And a big scrub. And as we watch this rock settle and tap that red stone, it looks to be far enough that BC is shot. You see Heather Smith-Dacey delivering her final stone. They are taking on Team Canada, Amber Holland, and a draw, it looks like, for 2. Got to find that 4 foot.
Well, they had to wait to get it off that guard, as you see, coming in, and now need to brush hard to get it by the 2 reds.
Liz Comstock, Terry Lake with a brush, and mission accomplished as they do find that 4 foot. So there is 2. Nova Scotia desperate for a victory. Of course, last year's bronze medalists coming in with a 2-5 record.
Like either or. I thought plan A was to go around last time. Plan B was to freeze.
Yeah. They're just lying 1.
Okay.
So I don't mind corner freezing.
Okay.
But
Same
if
weight
we,
then, Jen,
yeah,
'cause-
we can always, if we've got good line, we can come frozen to ours. It's a pretty good shot.
Okay.
Good option for Jennifer. Kelly
Let her know
Scott
the way,
tapping
Kate.
the stone back, but not far enough to lie to.
You a little further out? Okay.
Jennifer's able to corner. It would be tough for Kelly
that
Scott
same
to
weight,
get
though,
that.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Just checking.
Here's a live look now over on Sheet D, Saskatchewan, Alberta. Of course, Heather Nedwin out of the Saville Sports Center in Edmonton. One of these teams trying to battle in to find a playoff spot, throwing the Yellowstones. Looks like red is shot stones, so Heather attempting to draw for her one.
It is for sure for Heather. Needs to get 8 foot. Came short on her last draw last end. And here Jennifer was hoping to corner freeze.
And tucks it in nicely there for shot stone.
It should be pretty wide open, Brian. She can get just to the inside.
15-4, gotta go. Hard! Hard!
Lady Peters, Jessica Mayer will find enough of that 8 foot for the single. So Saskatchewan still leading 2-1 after 2.
Just the draw, guys.
Same way, Takeo?
You want that much?
Yeah, you can give a couple.
Just coming down to the face of it, decided that
Couple
with any
rocks
kind
too
of
now.
weight, it's
Yeah,
not going to
so-
move. So playing the draw for 1.
Final stone here in 2 for Kelly Scott.
7. Wait on line. Line's good.
Got room.
Line's good. Line
Room
will
right
get
now.
there.
7, 8.
Lots of room.
Okay,
Not
off the
moving
line.
yet.
8.
Here it goes.
Stay close.
Clean it.
Waiting for that rock to break.
8.
Close. Yep.
Yeah.
Now Fraser and Armstrong.
Got room.
Room. You got room now.
Guide that stone in, and beautiful touch weight there from Kelly Scott. As the former champion picks up her single. 1-1 after 2.
It came in nice.
Yeah.
Nice finish.
We're tied up at 1 after 2 ends of play here at the NMAX Centrium. You look at Jennifer Jones and Kelly Scott. A lot of history of facing each other here at the Scotties. And a lot of history as we flash back to 1991 when they played together at the Canadian Juniors. You see Jen Jones on the right, and look at Kelly Scott, 13 years of age on the left-hand side. Obviously teammates. And that year they were silver medalists and ended up losing the final, Kathy, to another familiar face, which is
Heather Smith.
who is now Heather Smith Dacey, who is skipping Nova Scotia's team. So it just speaks to the tradition and the great players that have come out of junior to compete here at the national level in women's competition as we bring you back to the NMAX Centrium. And third and underway here as Manitoba, BC, all tied up at 1.
Jennifer and Kelly playing for Jill Thurston now, who is still a very competitive curler in Manitoba, was in the provincial Scotties this year again.
Atta girl.
Fully.
And I'm sure they're all just thrilled to see these pictures coming back in
Big
video.
hair.
From
Christy Moreau's the other. But when we talk about the history between Jennifer and Kelly, it really is a long history. And it's not as opponents. It started out as teammates, and they went head-to-head in some really interesting dynamics going back to 94 when Canadian juniors would go the following year to the Worlds. And in that year, the CCA decided to change it. And so Jennifer's team had won the juniors, and so rather than not let them go to a Worlds, they put them into the Canadians the following year in the semifinals, and it was the Manitoba champion, Kelly Scott, who defeated Jennifer Jones, and that started the rivalry of them going head-to-head together.
And what a province that Manitoba is. You look at the Canadian junior champions out of that province. And, of course, ones that stand out for sure, Kathy Overton Clapham we've seen many times. Jennifer Jones is here, of course. Kelly Scott is here, of course. Caitlin Laws is here. My only question, though, is where's Kathy Gauthier on that board?
I lost a pair. I'm in therapy, and I thought I was over it. Thank you for bringing me back.
So is therapy working with me, or is that the punishment?
It's just the whole ball of wax.
Okay.
Epic fails.
I don't know what to do with it. Roll it off. Yeah, bounce the yellow. Right out, right out.
A very
right out.
well-curled game so far, which is what we'd expect. We've seen so many teams struggle with the ice, but we've seen some lovely shots made by both teams at all positions so far this morning.
And you just saw a shot of Sievertson. Of course, she lost the national junior title to Rachel Homan in 2010.
What? Really? You gotta go on the yellow. Oh no, we're fine. Okay, Jill.
Well, Jill pieces the top out. Oh, and there's Devlin. Yes, we're looking at you, my friend. And somewhere in that rocking basket is little baby Cameron. There, let's see. Can we see her face? Can you unveil the baby? Oh, she's got a toque and a little pin. And somewhere there's...
Oh, don't wake her up, Kathy. You're so mean.
I'm not. It's a little wee thing. Jill said she's sleeping great at night. And I know that so many of these teams really do want to take their hat off and say thank you to their families, their husbands, because there are so many babies in the field. Spin her around, Devin. We're going to take a look at her one more time in our baby show and tell session this morning.
And don't worry, Kathy will pay a commission for all this hard work.
Well, we need to see babies. There she is. There's a little baby Jilly. And the crowd has a chance to see her and applauding as well.
That's awesome.
It is great. She's 3 months old.
10 and a half. The difference. Okay. Fine. Is that quiet that way?
10.
Oh, sweet.
In case you're just joining us, BC with another lineup change today. Of course, unfortunately, Sasha Carter still under the weather, so Sherry Fraser has moved up and throwing third stones here for BC.
Hard. Whoa. Yep. Hard. Okay, stop there.
Any space?
Don't quite.
Sherry's made some great shots so far this morning.
that?
Almost had that perfect.
Try to go there.
I don't mind trying it, but like.
With here? Or hack? Okay. Hack, wait.
Let's go, Kale.
Looking for the very big roll.
Yeah! Oh, I put it back. Whoa! Oh! Yeah! Whoa! Whoa! Yeah, we gotta go. You gotta go. Okay, forget it. Okay, roll it, Dawn. Yep, go.
Well, the forget it you heard from Jennifer had nothing to do with making contact with the stone, but she knew that it was curling so much they weren't going to get the roll all the way across. So just as happy to leave it in the middle and make it tougher for Kelly Scott to roll.
And crucial, too, you heard Caitlin right away. Instead of, feeling that she made the shot, she said, I was off, I said it, or whatever she said to communicate that right away so they can either have plan B or deal with it.
It's really important. Communication, a big part of the team. And for Team Jones, a lot of experience at this level. They know how to share that information.
Good, Cher. I like both.
Don't mind
You
that.
like the hit?
I don't mind it.
Sure.
Or let's go there. Here.
Jennifer does have two options with Caitlin. Two corner guards.
Yeah. Hard. Gotta go. Whoa. Okay.
Caitlin Laws hits it right in the nose.
Hey, Kale.
Hey, shooting. Sorry, your first one, I didn't think we were going to get to the inside, so I thought we might as well try to roll it.
Just worried that it was too strong and we didn't have any of it, so I'm like, no!
I had board. Yeah. Nice throws.
It's not curling as much to the wings. Would you like to draw?
Yeah.
I thought blanking is okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was.
And now Kelly Scott looking to answer.
9-8. Queen. Yep. Yep.
Over in Sheet A, New Brunswick, Team Ontario.
Hard. Hard.
Both teams needing a win to keep playoff hopes alive. Redstones, New Brunswick, of course, Yellowstones belonging to Ontario. Final stone, of course, Andrea Kelly still throwing last rocks for this New Brunswick team.
And it appears from our vantage here, Brian, that this is a draw for 2. It looked as though the Redstone was closer to the Hearts. It is the away end. We're at the home end. Needs 4 foot no matter what. It does look like it's red from this angle as well.
New addition to this team, Rebecca Atkinson, calls the game. And a big brush the whole way here as Jody DeSola out of this lineup. You got Jeanette Murphy sweeping, Jill Babin sweeping, and they're working as hard as they can to get a piece. And it's enough. What a brush. And it is 2.
Well swept and back in our game. Kelly Scott hitting and rolling out on her first stone. Allows Jennifer a chance to try to draw behind her own guard.
Sliding.
Higher the better. No.
Hey, guys. A little nicer, maybe. Maybe, yeah. Now, I don't think it was.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised. Maybe it is a little. It wasn't.
I thought that should have been good.
Yeah,
sorry, guys.
No, that's okay.
I guess.
I don't think it was quite on Dawn's.
Yeah. We've had a couple of hits there now. Sorry, I wouldn't have thought I had to throw that.
No, it's all good.
What'd you get?
14-3.
Yeah, it's faster there now. We kind of thought it was going to be normal, but it's not.
A little bit more.
Now with Jennifer sliding a little bit deep, it will be interesting if the front end or the 2 sweepers, as Sherry is actually throwing third stones, are communicating that kind of information to Kelly. Her Jennifer's team surprised a little bit that her rock slid as far as it did in this path.
Weight's good. 7.
Felt like it's not quite back to it, so wait on line a bit.
Line will be fine.
Pretty amazing. Kelly Scott's 7th trip here to the Scotties in the last 8 years.
Go right back to it. Line will be good for 2-it.
No, line's good, guys.
No bounce yet, though.
No.
Right back to it. Stay with it. Line's perfect. Lock it on. Lock it on. Go, Sarah, go. Hard.
And they do lock it on for shot stone.
Nice.
Great shot, Cal.
Nice, Cal. There you go.
Good job.
Great brushing patience by the 2 sweepers. You want to bounce off to give them a chance for 2.
It's pretty tough. I got to come.
She cleared the front by a mile, too. But
Yeah. I don't know if the ends. Well, mine went sideways.
Yeah.
I guess we could try to throw back 12 and just see, but.
same kind of weight.
Out there?
Yep.
Jennifer hates taking 1. That's the Cole's
Don't we
Notes.
all, though, right?
That's the Cole's Notes version. So she's thinking if she can play back 12, they got by the guard by a lot. Maybe it will really curl hard and she can get to the inside. It's really, really tough.
Go, Jen.
Give me a little bit more, Caitlin.
And
I
you can
can't make it.
take a look at the scoring bug for some other scores.
Okay, you got it.
Then you just heard Jennifer from the hack. I'm going to take a little bit more. I can't make it. It is a great shot just thrown by Kelly Scott. With any kind of weight, it will not get the finish that you need in order to get to the other side of the rock. So this is the safe call, the smart call. Can't always take 2.
T-line. Call you. Line's good. Call you.
So final stone here in 3. They've traded singles so far, and now Jennifer Jones drawing in for her one.
Fight the fort.
All you on the team. Nice shot, Jen.
Good, Jen. Good shot.
And another nice draw for Jennifer Jones and Team Manitoba. And yet another single in our feature game on this Wednesday morning. And a 1-point advantage.
I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised.
Well, just a reminder, the Oscars are approaching, and you can watch the 84th Academy Awards Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, hosted by Billy Crystal, the 84th edition. Glad you're with us on this Wednesday morning. Brian Mudrick, Kathy Gauthier with you. We're in Red Deer at the NMAX Centrium, and we've traded singles so far. A 2-1 advantage for Manitoba here with play underway in the fourth, and BC with a hammer back.
And it is starting to show us, it is the vintage game that we have come to expect from these two teams. Both Jennifer and Kelly doing a great job of really forcing their opponent to only be able to score one when they've had last draw.
Just take a look, guys. Take a look. Take a look. Got a curl. Line's perfect. Sweep her tight. If you're tight, line
Don's
straight.
fiance, Mike McEwen, they got engaged
Curl
this
bit
year
at the end if you can.
on Boxing Day. He's making his way here to support her at some point today.
Oh, no, we can't, Jen. Can't. It's in, I think.
Extra nice resource in the house for her.
Okay.
I have never had a split that high.
No.
I'm talking about the splits being higher today. We always talk about how the conditions are the best in the morning. It is the coldest in the building. The ice is the crispest. It doesn't have a chance to have a lot of play on it. And so it is always really important to take a look. Keep your stopwatch out and your eyes ready.
Whoa, 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 easy share. No, no, no. Good throw.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
It's on.
I think it's on.
Spike the 8.
Whoa.
See, I good. You got room.
Caitlin, easy.
Go, fight the 8 only. Fight the 8 only. Whoa! Oh, there, Jill. Right off. T-line plus. Gotta come down. Still
Might
there.
come
Down. Might come down. It's gonna get
No,
loose
it's
still heavy. It's gonna get loose.
Sit, Jill.
Okay, Jill. Okay.
That's fine.
Sit.
Well, she is successfully behind the guard, but because it slid that little bit behind the tee line, there's almost a pocket being created that Kelly Scott can utilize, and asking Daleen to do that to freeze down on one of those stones.
Line's good.
They call her Young Blood,
Top 4 for
her
wins.
nickname on this
Yeah,
team.
line
Daleen
right.
Sievertson, a rookie here at the Scotties.
Clean, man. You got lots of line. Off if you're deep.
Whoa.
Right off if you're deep, guys.
No.
8. Clean it. Clean.
It's a little bump.
Clean.
No bounce.
Clean.
No bounce.
Clean. Yep. Yep. Nice.
And a very nice little touch shot as BC's now lying one.
I'm almost thinking we try to get to the nose and just move it to there. Yeah. Do you like that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Here.
Bumper. It's more
How much do you have?
Pardon?
Do you have?
I have like good 3/4.
Okay.
Jennifer knows that the BC stone is unlikely to go out of play because of the stones at the back, but she's asking Jill to hit it on an angle to move those stones around, maybe create an opportunity where she will be able to hit it later.
You gotta go hard! Hard! Whoa, whoa, whoa! There you go. Same in this track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just thrown a draw, but you heard her verify with her team that the path on this side is the same as We're still in the early parts of the game, only the fourth end. There have been spots that have been played much more so than others, just verifying that the weight that she just threw will work on this side as well.
Make it good. Keep looking.
Kathy, we talk about Sherry Fraser coming into this game, playing third, but also sweeping. How hard is that, not only to come in and be playing a full game and sweeping a full game, but even knowing that judgment? I guess maybe they rely on Jackie a little bit more than usual, or what's your take on that?
I think that for Sherry, it's probably easier in coming into this team as a fifth, and she's going in and she's playing at different positions. She doesn't have the worry of trying to judge line for Kelly Scott and advise her on strategy if they haven't worked together as much as Daleen. She's throwing and sweeping, and so it's probably easier.
Really hard, guys. Really hard. Gotta go.
Okay. Is that Tim? 9-8. 9-8. No, not down.
Either turn, Cher. You like this way? 10.
Here we go.
Sherry, in my opinion, has done a great job today of coming in at third. She made 2 great shots in the first. She made a draw and a pick. Another great draw in the second.
Close. Yep. Hard. Stay there. Hard. Good shot.
Rolls to the forefoot.
That was 11.
I'm trying to roll it. Here.
Weight was okay?
Yeah, weight was good.
Is a double there, Kathy, or does Caitlin just want to roll over and maybe nuzzle up to that other Yellowstone?
It's pretty flat. For Jennifer, she would love if Caitlin were able to roll over into that area. She's got a nice grouping of stones.
Trying to hold that line to get the roll.
Okay, Caitlin. Okay.
Not quite shot stone.
Tough one.
Thought you had a little less, Caitlin. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was close to perfect, but in fact it still is BC lying 1, and Kelly will ask Sherry now to draw to lie 2 on the other side of the house.
Little water path. Bad. Probably to here, guys.
Yeah.
Need full 8 for sure, right off. Way to go, Sherry.
Nice one, Cher.
And again, Sherry Fraser comes through as they lie 1 and 2.
She's holding her own this morning, that's for sure.
Done. Okay, right on the nose. Yeah.
And Jennifer will hit. Touch back 4.
Oh, 9-9.
9.5. Good.
9-9, same as Caitlin's first.
Kelly would be happy to nose or even roll a little bit to the left where the broom is, just to stay first and second.
9-9.
Yep.
Shoot. Well, she knows that I can just roll into that pile.
Kelly Scott beat Marla Mallet 6-5 in the BC final
10-2.
to qualify for the Scotties here once again.
Talked about Sherry Fraser playing with Marla Geiger, 95. Marla Geiger, now Marla Mallet.
Big push here. Armstrong, Fraser. And they will roll towards those stones. Still, though, 1 and 2.
That she will not be happy with that.
Just a little quiet.
Quiet wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for Jennifer, that roll makes this shot, the hit and the roll to here, so much easier. Any rolling to the right, she nestles in that group of stones and would continue this trend this morning of skips forcing their opponent into having to take one.
Is there a chance, though, Kathy, she could actually roll right through those 2 stones? Or will it actually catch?
Well, she'd have to go sideways and take a right angle.
Well, it's possible.
I don't think she's going for that.
No, I'm not saying that's what she wants.
No, you know what? She's got so many options, Brian, because she can roll against any one of those 3 stones and probably still be shot.
Final start here in 4 for Jennifer Jones.
Really hard!
And no flip over into that wall, so now it will be a play for 2.
Can't miss it. We have to overroll it, if anything.
Jen's frustrated because any roll, you can see she would have gone on to the red stone and been shot, or if she overrolled it and went to the back one, she still is shot. So she's a little frustrated with herself that she wound up with the nose and maybe didn't take more ice or throw that little bit more weight to make that happen.
There you go, Kyle.
So after singles in 1, 2, and 3, Kelly Scott, Team BC finally in 4 here, a chance to score the first deuce of this Wednesday morning match.
Easy.
Yep.
10.
Yep.
Whoa, yeah.
Yep.
Whoa.
Clean.
Clean. Whoa.
Clean.
Whoa.
And clean usually means good things. And she hits it on the nose and stays there for shot 1 and 2. British Columbia with a 3-2 lead after 4. Time now for updates here on this crucial Wednesday morning at the Scotties. New Brunswick taking on Ontario. Final stone on the way here from Tracy Horgan, the Scotties rookie.
We looked and saw that it was the red stone that was shot. Just gets by, plays off one, gets it out, and unfortunately rolls out. What a great try, still gets 1.
So 3-2 Ontario there after 4, as both those teams are in the playoff hunt. And next door on sheet B, Team Canada and Team Nova Scotia. And what a tough Scotties so far for Tammy Schneider. Suffered that knee injury and now out with the flu. It's actually Jolene Campbell into the game once again. And this final stone on the way here from Amber Holland.
Well, and she's facing 3. And they're so mentally tough, but these changes, Tammy coming in and then having to leave because she felt sick, they do affect the team. Rushing hard, needs to get full 4.
Jolene Campbell there on the left coming into the game for Team Canada. And there you see Heather Kalinchuk on the right. Kim Schneider urging them on, but it will be Nova Scotia now up 3-1 after 4. Of course, that's a must-win situation for Heather Smith-Dacey. And our final update this morning over on sheet D. And there you see Alberta, 3 Yellowstones all lined up. Both these teams coming in at 4 and 3. And there's a look at Saskatchewan and Michelle Englot, her final stone.
Well, so the triple is pretty tough. She for sure wants 2 to go away, trying to minimize the damage. Oof.
And it will be 2 for Heather Nedewin out of the Saville Sports Center in Edmonton. And a 3-2 Alberta lead after 4. As we mentioned off the top of the broadcast, every team coming into action this morning still has a shot to make the playoffs. Of course, the final 4 get in. There you see Team Canada, BC, Manitoba at 5 and 2. A number of teams at 4 and 3 as well, and everybody hoping for a victory on this Wednesday morning here at the NMAX Centrium in Red Deer. And in our feature game, finally, we had our first 2-spot put up by Kelly Scott at BC. A 3-2 advantage for her. And with action underway here in 5, Jennifer Jones has the hammer.
Well, and it's interesting, Brian, you just said that no team is out of it, and that is so true. And you can feel the intensity, even doing the updates. There is not one team that's, not that they get relaxed, but kind of switches gears a little bit. It is all important for all teams, all sheets today. Now that Jennifer can remove stones, we'll ask Jill to try to open up that front to give access to the shot stone.
Really hard!
Jill Officer.
Okay.
Well, not a great result. She leaves that long guard, ticks that yellow over, but not out.
Come in top 8, eh? Think just a 3.
Yeah. Just 3, hey?
Yeah.
3 meaning that they're not interested in ducking around.
Okay. That's right.
Coming in, a 3 is a tight guard. Kelly just calling down the top 12 is okay. Really does not want to be right on top of the shot stone. Just block this in-turn path.
Clean.
A little softer, so watch the line.
3. Yeah, line. Hard. 3.
Hard line.
3. Hard.
Hard line.
4. Okay,
Hard.
just clean now. Are we deeper than this?
Yes.
Deeper or higher?
We're
Either
deeper.
one,
There's no
not
top
side
8
by
count.
side.
Well, no.
Okay, we'll line. We're coming off the hill here. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Came across well into the open.
That's too bad. Sorry.
Kathy, time for the key shot of the game.
Well, you know, this young woman does everything. She hits, she runs, everything. She's also moved positions, and in the last end, she made a great shot on her first that really did set up the deuce. It has been a very uncertain week with illness on this team, and she has done everything asked for. Makes this really nice, delicate tap back with the guard out front. Really set BC up well, and they just finished spreading the house for the rest of the end and got their deuce.
Key shot brought to you by Scotties Facial Tissue, stylish designs for any room.
Good shot.
It's a good shot, Jill. My fault.
It's a very good shot. Takes it off the 4-foot.
10.5.
Jennifer saying her fault, thinking if she'd left it a little bit more, it might have gone out, but objective of getting that stone off the 4-foot mat.
Okay, Cher.
Full 8.
It's okay. All good?
Yeah, it's normal here.
Caitlin Laws.
Line's good. Full 8. You have room. Top 4. 4 foot. Gonna over curl. Full 8. Top 4. Clean it. Just clean. Easy clean. Higher side.
T-line, Jen.
No.
No.
It's gotta stop.
No, it's heavy.
Oops.
Gotta stop.
Cross it, cross it, cross it, cross it, cross
Okay.
it. Cross it, cross it.
Now, it slides a little bit deeper than they wanted to, and that guard out front is so long, and the movement all comes at the edge. You remember that in this spot, when they played this out turn before, they made a great bury, and it came out the other side. And so with backline weight being asked by Sherry Fraser, you can get to the face and tap it back and still be buried with your shooter.
Backline, clean, yeah. Clean, yeah. Backline, yeah. Hard. Hard. Okay, off now.
You just backline.
Yeah.
Tap in.
Sherry Fraser finds the hole
Can't do much with your
and makes the play on shot stone and
Great
removes
shot.
it as BC lies 3.
stone's pretty wide open.
Got it.
And you heard the weight call. That is a pretty big hole, but because of the movement, if you start to throw anything less that Jennifer would actually like to throw to get the roll, you're probably going to be on one of the guards.
Just gets by that one guard. And a little flip. And it is Manitoba's shot rock.
Oh, she just got by that guard.
Nice shot, Caitlin.
Oh, it's good weight, yeah.
Watch how close this comes. Yowza.
Just got by.
Yeah.
And now shot stone partially buried as well.
It's tracky today.
Oh, I look like I'm gonna cry.
I think it's a little faster for speed.
I agree, yeah. That job, the
That's what
button,
I was
I'm
trying to
like...
say.
Yeah, Kelly can see about a quarter to a half of it, Brian, from the hack. But if you play that shot, you're rolling out for sure. And then Jennifer will just make a better one.
No, we just have to count that. Really, the higher in the rings, the better. So, top 8. Think I need less, Daleen? Yeah. We're thinking 15?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kelly had made the comment a few times that this will eventually go down the hill, and that being that it curls quite a bit from this side with the in-turn.
It will run straight for a little while, and then when it starts to make its move, it's almost too late if you've not anticipated it.
Where?
6. Line's good.
Whoa, just topping.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Off, Jack. Off for line.
Just
Off
topping.
for line. We don't need to bring it at all.
Just need it to sit for line.
Yeah, your T.
Button.
Oh, sit.
Oh, sit.
And it's wide open in that
Oh,
hole.
we were golden if we were toppering.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Good throw. They just warp in there.
Yeah, that big finish. Yeah, toppering, we were a good line. And then it pokes open. Find that corner.
We need to stick biting 8?
Yeah. Okay. Half in the 8 would be great, actually. I think they're about a quarter in.
You got it.
Heavy.
Little firm.
Yes! Whoa! Yes! Whoa!
Pull up, Caitlin.
Okay, Jen.
And the shooter will spill out.
No opportunity.
Going down.
I have 10 and a half.
Maybe. Yeah, close.
Kel,
Sorry, 10 and a half.
10-8.
I said heavy right away. Did you hear them?
I did hear...
I thought it was going to curl a little bit more.
I heard bumper and then it might be up, but... Yeah, I thought it was...
That's the first thing we did here out of Jennifer's hand. Heavy just for the broom that she had taken. And so Kelly Scott gets to try the same shot twice. Knows the path.
Kelly Scott curling 81% thus far this morning.
It's good color.
Her final stone here in 5 without hammer.
4. I think it's quite a bit lighter,
go
guys.
then. Line will be fine.
Line's good.
Won't
Line's
be
good. Full
No,
8.
line's good.
Still
Topping
got room.
only.
Full 8. Off if you can for
Whoa.
weight, guys.
Just full 8. We're over curling again.
We're chest 8.
Here's where it just starts to go.
Sit. Sit.
Great shot. Yeah.
Great shot.
And it settles. Top 4 buried.
Listened.
Yes. That goes far.
See how much room she has by the guard there, and watch the rock and the line, how fast it gets there and crosses. Use that line. Great tracking tool.
Cleared the guard by quite a bit.
Yeah.
So Back line. Okay, let's go.
Let's go, Jen. Let's make it.
And it's so difficult to sit in the hack and be trying to make a play against a stone that you can see nothing of. And this is where someone who has the experience of Jennifer will sit in the hack and really be concentrating on one thing and one thing only, which is the broom, held by Caitlin, and thinking about the weight that she's going to be throwing and not at all about the outcome.
Closer to hack! Whoa! Hack! Whoa! Yes! Whoa!
Final stone here in 5 for Jennifer Jones.
Clean! Whoa! Clean yet! Whoa! Whoa!
Gets by the guard.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Gets a piece of the yellow stone.
Very nice.
And sits in time for her pair.
Great shot, Jen.
As Jennifer Jones has an answer here in 5, picking up her first deuce of this Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
And she leads by 1.
The tight ice to me, I'm like...
The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle. The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? By Ford, official automotive partner of the Canadian Curling Association. And by World Financial Group, proud to be a sponsor of the Season of Champions. Your dreams, our strategies.
Welcome back inside. Manitoba will be talking about that great shot by Jennifer on the buried stone to get the deuce and have the lead. Let's take a look at the numbers after 5. It's brought to you by Tim Hortons. It's time for Tim's. Edge goes to BC. In fact, at every single position on the ice this morning, BC is out-curling the Manitoba counterpart. The most difficult, or the most difference we see, is at the 3rd position. 10% in favor of Sherry Fraser this morning. Yet, what a great close game. And we're going to go down to Brian, who's with Kelly.
Kelly, obviously the flu bug really hitting your team. Sherry's come in and played fantastic at 3rd. Talk about the decision to have her throw the 3rd stones for this game.
Yeah, I guess the first time she subbed in, she threw 2nd stones, and she's been on the ice a few times matching rocks in the evening and has a real good comfort level on the ice. And my viewpoint was just going into playoff time, we want to kind of everyone settle in and get real comfortable. So the less shuffling of everyone else, the better, I think.
How's Sasha doing?
Not good. She's struggling, yeah.
And finally, how much do you get up for these games? You two are great skips when it comes to the Scotties. How much do you get up for Jennifer?
It's fun. It's the best of the best. It's fun. It's a challenge. It's exciting, and it's good shot making.
Thanks for this and good luck.
Thanks.
That is Kelly Scott of Team BC, and we have a close game, a bunch of singles taken, and then a couple of deuces as Team Manitoba leads 4-3 after 5. Back to Red Deer after this. Updates now from Wednesday morning here at the NMAX Centrium, Saskatchewan, Alberta. Both teams at 4-3, and both teams in a position to make the playoffs. Just got to keep the wins coming. Here's a look at Team Saskatchewan's Michelle Englot. Final stone out of the Tartan Curling Club in Regina.
Another one of these very close games here this morning, Brian. We looked at those in the house. It looked as though that yellow one in the 8-foot was the shot stone. If she can tick it sideways, might bring the 2 red ones back into play. Oh, she takes the front one instead and gets the little bit of a fortunate roll.
So the red stone will spill in, and it is all tied up at 3 after 5. Over on Sheet B, Team Canada taking on Team Nova Scotia. If you're just joining us, it's been a tough Scotties for Tammy Schneider. She injured her knee and now is out with the flu. That means Jolene Campbell is into the game. Jolene is on the right, preparing to sweep Amber Holland's final stone.
Well, and you saw the house. There was a little happy face of yellow stones at the back. And so it is a draw in front of any one of those. Needs the 8-foot. Fighting the 4 for the shot.
Heather Kalinchuk rushing on the left. And there you see Kim Schneider calling the broom. As the defending champs, Team Canada, Amber Holland. A successful draw for the singles, so they have a 3-2 advantage after 5 over Heather Smith-Dacey and Team Nova Scotia. And our final matchup today that we're keeping an eye on. There you see in the hack, Rebecca Atkinson calling the game for Team New Brunswick. Andrew Kelly throwing the final stones. Another injury update to report, too, on this team. Jody DeSola out with an injury. Jeanette Murphy in. And a lovely little tap.
Very nice.
As Team New Brunswick will pick up a pair, and they lead 4-3 after 5.
It's a very nice little touch shot.
And back to our feature game. A couple of former champions going head-to-head. Jennifer Jones, Kelly Scott trading deuces in 4 and in 5. And it is Manitoba, 4-3 advantage over Kelly Scott. BC with the hammer.
I loved what Kelly said to you at the break when she talked about how much she enjoys going head-to-head with Jennifer. And she's a competitor. She loves to play in good games. And when you think back, anybody that's ever played any level of sport, it's fabulous to win, but you remember those victories against people that you have so much respect for, that are great players, that force you to play a better game in order to win. And that's what Kelly, I think, gets out of playing against Jennifer.
And pretty close when you look at their overall head-to-head battles. They've met 9 times before this matchup. Scott with a 5-4 advantage.
And they weren't just matchups. They were matchups at a Canadian Scotties. They were matchups in playoffs, in 1-2 games.
You can be offline.
Great success from both of these teams.
Don't need to bring it. Nice, Daleen.
And Kelly Scott, too, an interesting dynamic. One of the most positive, one of the nicest people that you'll ever talk to, but don't for a second think that she's not competitive and really wants to bring her game each and every time, no matter who she's playing. But a very positive person when it comes to her teammates.
Well, for sure. Just because you're nice doesn't mean that you're not competitive or that you don't want to win. Joe, some lower numbers today than in the past.
Yep, yep. Whoa! Whoa!
Trying to run that stone back, pick it out.
You can hit too, but
What do you know
A
better?
little early. I like the freeze right now.
You know, Daleen very much in Kelly's head because they spend so much time in the house together. I agree with her. It is very early. If you start to hit now, you need to make another 6 or 5 perfect shots in order to get the deuce, and that assumes that Manitoba won't have the chance to score a double at some point.
yeah, line a bit, yeah, line. We're a little ball. Okay, room.
Gotta go line.
Off if you're heavy. You can clean it, yeah, line.
Hard line.
Room. Let it curl, let it curl, let it curl. Off.
Great shot.
Way to go.
Very nice. That does allow Jennifer, though, to walk over to the shot stone and ask Caitlin to remove it. Will continue to lie 2 if she is successful.
Yep. Whoa. Let me serve. Yep. Whoa. Clean.
Caitlin Laws
Clean. Just clean.
makes the hit. Manitoba lies 2.
10.
Heard Kelly's comments, too, on Sasha Carter and how she's feeling. If Sasha's watching, obviously want to send you our best and get better soon. They worked so hard to make it to this national championship. And to be ill at a time like this, just terrible. Sherry Fraser, though, has really stepped up. 44 years of age. Some Scotties experience, and she's played very well.
Well, she certainly has, out shooting Caitlin Laws by 10% so far in the first 5. That is no easy feat.
Okay, very nice, Sherry.
Good one.
10-4? Yeah.
Didn't get it.
Okay.
It was nice.
It's nice. Gotta go. Whoa.
And she will not. She will roll to second shot. And the frustration evident. They are so close to perfect with her shots this morning. some line calling mistakes.
They'll come off the line hard.
At both ends. And so now that we're on third, second stones, she will try to utilize that draw made by Daleen.
9, yeah! Yeah! Double, yeah! Hard! I think we're too thick. Just roll.
Just to it. Whoa, whoa.
Nice shot, Cher.
Now it's perfect if she manages to stay first and second shot. But she, like Caitlin, rolled a little bit too far.
You got it.
Advantage Manitoba.
Just a 10. Okay. You gotta just bite the white, Dawn, okay?
Yeah, go, Jen.
Kath, we mentioned off the top that this seems to be the time of the week where Jennifer Jones really elevates her game. Why do you feel that this is when she seems to turn it on?
You know what, for Jennifer, I don't know that we're going to see a huge difference this year because she has played, with the exception of those 2 games in the 60s, very, very strong. Even with those 2 games in the 60s, she was still the leader amongst all skips.
Yeah.
Oh, and you heard her say it's picking. She could feel something under the stone. You just hate to see that.
Yeah, whoa! Needs to keep picking.
Good on Caitlin Lazo to stay with it and try come up with something.
Oh, yeah, you can't just pack your tent and go home. And Jennifer knew right away. She cleaned it.
Yeah.
But if there's something in the ice. So here she's good. Sliding out. You can watch her face right away when she knows. There you go. You can feel it when you, if you haven't thrown a lot and you're a curling fan, but you've not necessarily been a player, it's a 40-pound granite, but you can absolutely feel any debris underneath it on your fingertips. So Jennifer would have felt that. She tried to spin it because sometimes that will dislodge. But there's the scratch.
It was like
it's in the ice, so that's a little bit of stone or some kind of a debris, but obviously it wasn't something underneath it. It was a lot underneath it.
Yeah.
That is too bad. They've had some tough breaks, too. You think back to that burned rock and Jill Officer falling down when they were taking on Team Canada. It's a long week, and a lot of things can happen.
Oh, sure. We definitely see less lost stones to debris than we used to with hog hairs. You see one on the right-hand side. There's a lot less out there. Synthetics don't tend to lose anything, but you really do hate to see that happen.
And now Kelly Scott trying to take advantage. Her first here in 6 with hammer. Removes the red. Will the shooter stick around? Big scrub from Caitlin Laws, and it will spin out.
Yeah.
Great scrub from Caitlin.
it's pretty flat, but we could try it. I mean, there's no, make sure that we don't jam. So.
Well, talk about opportunities back and forth. There's somebody who's in great shape and is a great brusher. Opportunity lost. Well, they're going to try to play the double. It's very flat. They have nothing to lose because it is her final stone.
Yeah.
She's able to get it, she does. If not, for sure she's removing at least one.
Peel.
Make it.
She can throw weight.
Follow it through, Jill.
As Jennifer prepares to deliver her stone, live look at Sheet B, Team Canada and Nova Scotia. Heather Smith-Dacey throwing the yellow stones. Facing that one red stone, you see back 4. Meantime, Jennifer's red stone. It's the one yellow, just missing the second, though.
Needed to wait a little bit.
And now the delivery on the way here from Heather Smith-Dacey, a 2-5 record coming in. Last year's bronze medalist from Charlottetown.
4-8. It's been a while. On this side, yeah.
She will roll. How far is she rolling? Looks like it's still shot.
I think she picked up her single.
I do.
So it is 3-2 Nova Scotia. after 6.
4-8.
Well, from the first couple of ends where both skips did a great job, both teams did a great job of forcing their opponent with last rock to take 1. Last couple of ends, it's been advantages to the last rock throwers for deuces, a chance for Kelly Scott for the 2.
Kelly Scott says she loves the competition, loves playing in these big games. Final stone here in 6, a draw for her deuce.
Clean, I think he's clean.
You gotta let them kind of grab, eh?
And there it is. She finds the 4-foot as they keep putting up the deuces here in Red Deer. BC's back on top.
There we go, guys. There we go.
We're at the NMAX Centrium on this Wednesday morning, home of the Red Deer Rebels. And we have a fantastic matchup underway between BC and Manitoba. 2 former champs playing like it. They traded singles, and they traded a couple of deuces now, and it is Kelly Scott with a 1-point advantage. And Jennifer Jones has the hammer. With action underway here in 7. Lead stones for BC. Jackie Armstrong.
Stop room! We're pretty tight. We're tight.
Very typical start to this end. Jackie coming into the 4-foot, well played. Corner guard thrown by Manitoba. And now trying to play a tight guard on this one.
Share that pick, eh?
Okay, very nice.
Well, they're clearing the ice pretty good. They, excuse me, that last one picked as well.
Line's good. Make sure you clean it. Wait there. Line only. Line only. There's grab here. Clean it. Line only. Okay, then off, off, off. Gotta work a little. Off.
Back 4 on its own. Back 8.
No.
Back 4.
No, back 4. I like that. No. Yep, 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 yep. No, no. Okay. Sit on.
Over on sheet D, 2 teams very much in the thick of things when it comes to the playoffs. Saskatchewan, Alberta, Heather Nedewin throwing yellow stones. And that one rock you see in the 8-foot looks to be shot stone as Nedewin drawing for 2 here in 6.
You gotta go. Gotta go.
Heather lost a couple of really tight ones early, mostly because the opponent made a great shot. Is one of those teams in the pack, needs to stay even with the win. Chance for 2.
Her front end, Jessica Mayer, Lainey Peters. Out of the Saville Sports Center in Edmonton, just north of here. Finds the button and 2. Alberta, 5-3 advantage over Michelle Englot in Saskatchewan.
And a nice shot here to be in front of that red stone. Being shot is not
Try
important.
to clip the 4. First. Insert.
Kathy, in all your time broadcasting and playing in the Scotties, do you remember a lot of Wednesday mornings like this where still every single team had a chance to make the playoffs?
No, there are very few that I can think of. There was definitely a whole bunch of teams with hopes and potentials, but often there was, oh, stuffs it straight back, 1 or 2 teams that had just gotten off to a slow start because round robin starts in a couple of days.
And there's a look at the standings. No team, as you see, has been eliminated yet. Those teams are obviously at 2 and 5 in must-win situations. Team Canada, BC, Manitoba, all at 5 and 2. Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, and Alberta at 4 and 3. Quebec also 4 and 3, and then Ontario, the rookies, they're at 3 and 4. So lots to be decided, Kathy.
You bet, and one of these teams obviously going to 3 losses as a result of this, but this is where you have your Gantt charts out in your room and figuring out who plays who and who can help you and who can be your friends.
And how many tiebreakers we might have.
Outstanding.
Gotta go hard, Jackie. Hard, right down. Hard.
To get it right to the nose.
Siebertson Stone gets by the guard. And a nice little shot removes the red rock, and there you see it, BC line 3.
Just about clipped that guard on the way by. Brusher's working really hard. Yeesh. Jennifer was up there. It did look like it was going to crash. Wow.
You see Sherry has the hair broom and then the synthetic broom as well. What are the differences there, Kathy?
One has hair.
Again, the obvious by Kathy Coche. Thank you.
What the studies, most of the studies have shown is that the combination of the bow is really the best. If you can have a synthetic closest to the rock, it really does break down the pebble. And if you do happen to have frost, we do know that those synthetic, or rather the horsehair or hog hair, are the most effective. If you have a little bit of both, see Jilly's right there, it is the best combination. So most of the teams have gone to one of each.
I was trying to...
Oh, do you? Whatever you like, Cher.
I like playing.
You can go in 11 or you can go here, top 8. What do you like, Cher?
Like?
I like what you're going to make. 11.
Yeah, I like this, yeah.
Okay.
A couple of options for Sherry. I don't know that Kelly thought she could see as much as she can. I'm sitting right behind that sheet, and she can see at least 7/8. So if you imagine yourself in the hack, that's what you can see. And again, you're aiming at the broom and not the rock. And with last rock belonging to Manitoba, I think for Sherry Fraser and certainly Daleen, really wanted this rock gone.
Whoa, clean, whoa, off now. Wow, good shot. Way to go. Way to go, Fraser.
And Kath, you look at Kelly Scott, obviously one of the top when it comes to records so far. That's who she's played. Obviously on the ice right now with Manitoba. And then you look at the territories, you look at PEI, both of them with 2-5 records right now. New Brunswick, that could be a crucial battle, though, at the end because they've been playing fantastic. Andrea Kelly, of course, her team, she's throwing final stones. That's skipped by Rebecca Atkinson.
That is no walk in the park to end the round robin with.
Hard! Whoa! Whoa! No!
It's good. It's right off. I don't know what. Sorry, Caitlin.
And here's a look at Jennifer Jones. And, of course, a loss to Alberta, you see, and a loss to Team Canada stands out there on the ice with BC. And she'll wrap up with the territories, Quebec, and the young team from Ontario.
And all of those teams, thinking about Quebec last night beating Team Canada, Maddie Flouns is certainly playing hard, and Ontario, they're playing loose, they're playing comfortable, they're having some fun out here, but they're also making a lot of shots. So there are no gimme games at this Scotties.
As long as we're back T, we're fairly open still. Back 4.
Yeah.
Line looks fine, guys. You got a piece tucked. You're okay. Good, Cher.
That's good, a good one.
Once again, BC Lang to
Fight the 4.
I think you can throw it quite late. What's that? I think it's like, it's normal.
Room. Gotta go, Jen. You got room. Top 12. Gotta be top 4. You gotta be shot. No, it's okay. It's okay. Not bad.
I've seen lots of rocks in this path. They run straight and then break hard at the end.
That's what we thought.
Stay with it. Stay with it.
It's
Fight the
deeper.
four. I know. We got to curl it a little bit.
It's T-line.
No, you can't. Okay, Caitlin.
Wow. Yeah. I thought it was just my tooth that was sliding there. No, we're getting high splits on you. Sorry, Caitlin.
Sorry, Caitlin.
Here's the finish at the end. They're talking about the high splits. If she had thrown a little less weight and let the sweepers take it, it would have really finished hard.
It's funny, we're hearing a lot of sorry Caitlins in this game. How frustrating is that, Kathy, when you know your release is pretty good and you feel you're throwing the right weight, but it just doesn't seem to want to come together?
Brutal. It does. It feels so frustrating because when you're throwing a bad in-turn or you're throwing a bad out-turn, you can say to yourself, okay, I need to do this. But when you feel like you're hitting the broom and you're throwing the right weight and the rocks are not going where they're supposed to be going, really frustrating.
Let's have a run back here.
Kelly Scott with her first here in 7. Of course, we talk about lineup changes and the flu going around, and one familiar name to this team, of course, Gina Schrader, who's not with the team this year, on mat leave, I guess you could say, is concentrating on family.
She is. Kelly said they had talked about her joining them later in the season, and that didn't happen. She's got 3 boys now at home.
Lost the line a bit, eh?
Yeah. Pretty busy life.
Throw, Cal.
Yeah,
I
lost
wanted
our
to
line.
to keep it on nose, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to. Shoot.
Yeah. If I had back 8, I don't think we would have
Like,
had the
well,
line.
too late, really. Anywhere high. We're just winter freezing.
Okay.
Speed's all good here, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's nice, very nice.
No, a little bit faster.
Yeah, it's sliding pretty good.
Jennifer spending a little bit longer cleaning her rock in the hack area after last end.
Jennifer throwing 69% so far this morning. Obviously, that pick didn't help. Very unfortunate.
Do it for sure, I think. No, then. Gotta cut. No, wait, it's real good. Gotta move. Whoa! Top 8. Higher the better.
No, it's good. It's all there, all there, all there, all there. All there. No.
All you.
Top 8.
Getting better.
No bounce.
Lock it on if you can.
Easy.
No bounce. No bounce.
Oh, beauty.
Perfect.
Good shot.
Good judge.
Good call, Jill.
Nice, Jen.
Very good call by Jill.
Other
So
girl.
many of the
Other girl,
players
Jen,
out here do rely on stopwatches, and the team uses them as well, but they rely on their eyes more than anything. Jill called that halfway down, changed the plan, and just refused to let Dot sweep. They knew they had the right weight, and she was absolutely right.
Got a high split on her, too.
It's a great shot. Sets those stones up at an angle that any play by Manitoba on that red stone, yellow goes, and so for Kelly Scott has to go around it.
Just get behind the red, that works, but...
Your option here is for sure short, corner frozen on top.
Clean.
Just clean
Okay,
it.
let it sit for line. Whoa, line.
Lead it
Whoa,
to stop
whoa,
now.
whoa, whoa. Bounce
keep
on the
it
red
clean,
and all,
though.
guys.
No.
To the red.
No, don't touch it.
You can tuck it around the red.
Okay, yep. Yep.
Not
Hard.
there, Daly.
Hard.
Okay.
Pretty good shot.
Yeah, kind of just it was probably sitting, and then it was kind of a what's plan B, so like a communication where the weight is to, because we could have just held line for nose and like just a freeze nose instead of trying to move it there.
Yeah.
I think I probably started with more weight than what it finished, but we were just
I think, Kathy, that Jennifer
line.
briefly looked at a possible run back or raise and then quickly put the broom down here for the draw.
Again, this is the right call. You're already lying 1 in a game that you've been trading points and forcing your opponent. You've got the chance for the deuce and the lead. You take it.
Final stone. Jennifer Jones drawing for 2 out of the St. Vital Curling Club in Winnipeg.
No. No.
Officer asks you, not a broom yet. Not even keeping it clean yet.
No.
Needs full 4. And it slides a little bit too far. So just the 1 for Team Manitoba and Jennifer Jones.
Sorry.
We're all tied up at 5 as BC has the hammer when we return. Scotties, fantastic television and the crowd favorite here in Red Deer. And Heather Nedwin, before the event started, Kathy, I talked to her, she was losing her voice. So it's been a great competition so far for her, and we'll see her taking on Quebec a little later on this afternoon on TSN.
So animated she is. She has two little girls that were going to play. I think they get some of that dramatic flair from their mama.
Fantastic energy as we bring you back to our feature game here at the NMAX Centrium. A single for Manitoba in 7. We're all tied up at 5. Kelly Scott with hammer and lead stones on the way.
Well, it has taken 8 ends, but Kelly Scott has been able to take away the benefit of Jennifer Jones and the Manitoba team of winning that last rock hammer in the first. Even when Kelly has been up 1, it's been without, and finally now she is tied up with last rock. This is the all-important 8 for Kelly Scott. Would love to score 2 or more, force Jennifer in 9, and have last rock coming home. That's the theory. Practice is sometimes quite different.
When you play, Kathy, on a morning like this, when everyone is still alive, do you really force yourself to concentrate on the game in hand, or are you peeking at the scoreboards across the ice?
You know what? Because of how the standings are this year, there is no point peeking. In some years, you know, there's the top 3 move ahead, and so now you're looking at one other team that might stop you from moving ahead, but the field is so flat this year that I think it'll be tomorrow before anybody starts hoping for wins and losses and it starts to really peak.
Really gotta go, guys. Go, go, go. Okay, Julie. Good rushing there.
Manitoba successfully lies 2.
Top 8.
Daleen Sievertson. She holds the broom for Kelly Scott, throwing second stones this morning.
Just bending now. Here it comes.
Line's getting really good.
Clean it. Yep. Yep. Hard line. Hard line. Hard. Hard. Okay. Whoa. 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 Just.
Around the guard, and she will bury this stone, touching 8 foot. Kathy, I want to ask you about Daleen. Obviously, when Sasha was 6, she did play third and threw third stones. Now throwing second stones really seems a whole lot more comfortable in this morning's match.
Well, she really does. She's playing really well and outscoring her opponent during the course of the year. Just listen to Jill and Jen. Caitlin's going to come down. We'll have a little continued on our conversation.
I guess you're jamming it if you play quietly.
You like the run?
That was my first thought, but
Because we could leave her this. Like, if we go here, we're just going to leave her.
yeah.
And then if we go here, I think that out turn will curl. That she could play that.
If you think we can tuck a piece and not leave a double, then
Yeah, it's fine. Firm.
Just a good communication. Lots of rocks in play, and Jennifer knows it's an all-important end, wanting to make sure that her and Caitlin are on the same page.
That's the end, right? Yeah.
But back to the conversation, Brian, about Daleen, I think that the decision to have the least amount of movement on Team BC and let her stay in her roles as the second thrower and the person that helps Kelly in the house with the broom is really working out well. To move her to third, if there's just too much going on in an event like this to begin with. Seen this a little bit before, a sense of deja vu this morning.
So seems to be close, eh?
Yeah.
Daleen trying to freeze on the shot stone. She did that successfully in 6, and it led to the 2.
Live look now on Sheet D, Saskatchewan, Alberta, both teams 4-3 records coming in. Alberta with a 5-3 advantage. Saskatchewan throwing the red stones. And there you see the broom, and there you see the yellow stone behind as Michelle Englot, 48 years of age. First skip to win provincial Scotties in 4 different decades. Final stone here. Playing a little tap, I believe.
Oh, God, this is really risky. She's throwing hit weight at it, Brian. I would have thought she would have played the tap. She's using the hit. If it's made, and it is, that's great. But, boy, if she chips her own out, it's 4.
It's an easy game, Kathy. What are you talking about? Perfect shot. as Saskatchewan picks up 2.
Wow.
5-5 after 7. Great throw.
That's a great outcome, but what a risky shot.
No, we're good. Clean ice. Clean. Off. Good. Good shot.
Do you get that?
No.
Yeah?
Do
This
you
way,
like?
okay?
Like that?
9.5.
Too many redstones around. And so
I'm
for
fine
Kelly,
with the 9 if you like that.
see if they can hit and roll behind that redstone.
9.
Over on sheet B, Team Canada facing Team Nova Scotia. That is a lot of yellow granite in the house for Amber Holland to deal with. Her final stone in 7, trying to limit some of the damage.
Well, and the way that 2 of those stones are set up, Brian, they're sort of one on top of each other there as you look at the hearts. Really tough.
Looks to be playing a tap against 3. Gets 2 out of there. The shooter, though, spills a little too far. And a steal for Heather Smith, AC in Nova Scotia. The bronze medalist from last year, hanging tough. 5-2 advantage after 7.
Talked a lot about that Team Canada team. Amber really held them in last year, really holding them in this year. And when you see that house, when she goes to throw her last rock, somebody's not making something.
Keep in mind, too, Tammy Schneider out of the game. Jolene Campbell in. Schneider, it's not the knee, actually. She is feeling under the weather.
No. Good.
Yeah, a little more 9.5. Yeah.
Here, Caitlin. Good shot.
Manitoba well on the way to the 4th this end, which is what they would like.
Weight's good. Line 7 here. You have room now. Quite a bit of line.
Out there.
Want back 4, guys.
It's out there. It's a little deeper.
It's wide open. Back 4, back 8. Back 8's better. Come on, keep it coming. Line's getting better. Keep going. Right to full back 8. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Go, 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 go. Good job. Nice shot, Cher.
The farther they took it back, the more they hoped that it would curl, and they also hoped that with that stone of Sherry's that any removal by Jennifer might direct it on the red to your right. So probably 3/4 available from the hack.
Good job. Back weight.
You know, there's what you can see, almost all of it for Jennifer as she looks at it.
You want to roll to the center line, Jill, okay? Even on the other side, keep it the
Okay.
4 foot. Just tap.
Okay.
Jennifer throwing hack. Marie-France Baruch said last night that she feels that on this ice, hack is the hardest weight to throw well. Bumper and bumper up. You know that they will run relatively straight. Hack is such a touchy weight that it either catches the swing or if you're a little bit up, it won't.
Out of her hand, a big scrub the whole way from Askin. Officer
Really hard.
just gets it by her own red stone and will sit now to live 4. And it was a big story coming in. You talked about the skips, and here's the comparisons, Kathy.
Well, this continues the trend, doesn't it? Kelly Scott a +4 against Jennifer history-wise, and if the game ended right now, she'd be a +5, outscoring Jennifer by 11%. That's a lot.
Player comparisons brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
I mean, it definitely was grabbing something, and so I kind of spun it, and I threw like a rocket, and it...
Ended up being just.
Oh, did it?
11-3, but once it hit, it only topped it to like.
Yeah.
okay, Cal.
Kind of runs a bit there.
Yeah.
A little strong.
10-8.
Yeah, kind of ran the line for a while.
I feel like 9.5 inches.
Like we hit 7/8, I think we make the roll. The house is so lively.
Yeah, I just think it goes in there. But
7/8 makes that double. I think you have to hit your 3/4 almost to dead net that, don't you think?
it's close.
Yeah. 9.5.
Well, for Jennifer, for sure, she knows she wants to remove this stone and get it out of play. But they're talking about what happens when you hit this stone. If you make the roll, do you wind up jamming on this stone in the process of getting there?
We can roll flat. Like even if we roll half buried, you know, like if we don't make it the whole way.
Okay, let's go.
So 9.5. It's pretty flat.
Really is about a roll. If she's able to roll, it forces Kelly Scott to draw against 3, potentially 4.
Close.
Whoa!
Jennifer Jones.
Clean it. No.
Trying to avoid the jam.
Okay.
And she'll sneak it through. And Kelly Scott will be facing 4 with her final stone.
Hi, girl.
Close,
Straight
eh?
there, yeah, nice throw.
Almost.
Yeah,
Almost.
nice throw.
Thanks.
Similar shot as she's just thrown for Kelly Scott, but good job by Manitoba to force Team BC to get rid of that last rock advantage here. And against 4, no less.
So a big throw here in 8. Facing 4, final stone, electing to play the same shot. Hit it on the nose, take your 1.
Clean to it. Yep.
Clean. You're looking good.
And the former champ responds under the heat, makes the hit, sticks around for 1. As this close matchup continues, a 1-point advantage for BC here in Red Deer.
Guys.
Yeah, way to go.
We were trying to maneuver.
It's time now for the M&M Meat Shop's Final End Challenge. After the game, go to www.finalend.ca. Enter the secret word for a chance to win a trip to see the 2013 World Junior Curling Championship in Sochi, Russia, home of the 2014 Olympic Winter Games. The first 100 entries will have a chance to win a $50 M&M gift card. All participants get an M&M discount as well. We will give you the secret word next end. We are at the NMAX Centrium here in Westerner Park in Red Deer, Alberta. And a close game between BC and Manitoba. Kelly Scott making the hit for her single in 8. A 6-5 advantage as Manitoba has the hammer.
A little more than 2.5.
The teams are doing more cleaning than they have in the past. We saw Jennifer's unfortunate pick, some kind of a stone or something underneath it that left the big scratch. Don Askin's just picking up another piece of debris, and that's why you don't see a red stone in play.
Don Askin leads stones for Manitoba at the St. Patel in Winnipeg.
Whoa, wait. No bounce, no line.
You can't.
Wait's off.
Wait's pretty good.
Getting better, but you still got no line. You're side by side.
It's trying hard.
Yeah, no, Caitlin, off. Caitlin. No, Caitlin, no.
No, higher better.
Caitlin, come here for a second.
Good.
Oh, there's something back there.
It's kind of flat there.
They're talking about a flat path right in front of the hack. So when you do your forward press, it almost feels like it's a wet surface where it slows you down a little bit. And so you see a lot of cleaning, but it also can be just that There's been so many stones played there over the course of the end that the pebble wears down. It becomes a flat spot. But I think that the combination of Jennifer's pick and Dawn's pick this end have got the teams a little spooked.
Over on sheet A, there was a lot of discussion for a while. You see New Brunswick's red stone there just biting the 8-foot. They discussed possibly splitting, and after the conversation, Andrea Kelly settles into the hack. Of course, she throws the final stone for Team New Brunswick, and it's Rebecca Atkinson holding the broom. Final stone there in 8, facing 2 yellow stones of Team Ontario there, both in the 8-foot.
There's not a lot of ways for Andrea Kelly to draw.
Trying to run a red stone onto the yellow and make a complex double.
Nice try.
Gets both yellows, can't stick the one red, but a single, and a great effort from Andrea Kelly.
It sure was. If she curls it a little bit more, she's got the run double off her own for the deuce.
A lot of close games this morning. That one, a 1-point advantage now for New Brunswick.
We saw Jennifer call Caitlin down. They would have been discussing about what their goal and their plan is this end, and you can see the tactics. Jennifer would love to blank this end, have Last Rock coming home.
9-8. Yeah.
Meantime, sheet B, Team Canada in tough this morning against Nova Scotia. Amber Holland throwing the red stones, coming in with a 5-2 record.
She's got to tap, Brian. There is a second shot stone in the house that belongs to Team Canada. If she can tap the shot stone back, it's for 2.
And she gets through the port, and mission accomplished. So Team Canada rallying back, down by 1 now after 8, as Heather Smith-Dacey now has the hammer.
Jill looking for the double.
Yeah! Whoa! Whoa! No! No!
Lots of weight.
No.
We're close. We should have it.
No!
Just a wee bit thin.
I don't mind a 3, Sherry.
Tight.
You got 2 options for Kelly Scott. One of them is that you split the house as far apart as you can to create the deuce. The other is you throw the guard. She's elected for the guard.
There, yeah.
On sheet D, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Heather Nedowin getting ready to deliver her stone. You see the 3 yellows there surrounding that 1 red. Yellow is shot, but it looks like a tap back to really break this one open against Saskatchewan, and a chance for 4.
It sure does. Michelle Englott's last one not curling. This is indeed a chance. It is wide open, Brian.
Out of her hand, urging her sweepers, Jessica Mayer, Lainey Peters. They were on it the whole way, and now just clean by the guard. And you hear the crowd here in Red Deer. A big 4 spot. A 9-5 advantage as Alberta looking strong to improve to 5-3 this morning.
That guard, not guard-like. And so Caitlin will take a turn at trying to make the double.
Bang, bang.
Go, 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 go. Right
And
out,
she
right
will
out,
spill
right
them
out,
both.
right out. Keep going.
Nice shot, Caitlin. That a girl.
Be happy with that. Wade catches that one on the right just a little thinner than they'd wanted, but lots of velocity. Jennifer able to get it out. And so you can see the plan is for sure the blank. Kelly Scott not going to take chances.
Clean, clean. Let it work a bit. Let it curl off.
Just clean.
Clean only.
Just clean.
Nice, Sherry. Way to go.
Nice.
Snow?
Done a very good job in fitting in this morning at the 3rd position. Sherry Fraser has.
It's funny too, Kathy, we had this discussion earlier in the Scotties about strategy and what you feel comfortable with. Do you like to have the hammer coming home maybe down by one, or would you prefer to be off and without hammer? And I guess all depends on your comfort level or what you like.
Well, I know because I played with Jennifer that her comfort zone is having that last rock advantage. She's a very confident player. She's got great results, so that's why she's also confident. But with last rock for Jennifer being down one, she's put deuces up on the board before. She's very confident with her team's abilities to make the shots.
All good.
We'll make sure for sure that she'll have a shot for one, but she's planning to make two all day.
Nice stuff with you.
And it is out of Kelly Scott's control when that one slid in too deep that was going to be a guard, and so she will blank this out and play hard for the steal in 10.
10.
We got room.
Green. Yep. 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 To it, guys. Yep. Hard. Yep.
Really hard.
Right up, right up, right up. Yep,
Right
yep,
to
yep.
it, right to it.
Nicely done, Cal.
Sweeping, guys.
Nice. Thanks. Nowhere to hide this end. Stay right in the middle, I guess. Longer roll.
Yeah.
Well, we've heard Daleen coughing quite a bit during this match. Hopefully that she's not fighting something too already without Sasha Carter.
Yeah.
Carter's under the weather as well.
You know why? There's a little pit. That's probably right here. Yeah, I don't want this rock next time.
Jen said she caught like a rock that scraped it, but I don't know what Dawn's was.
Little up.
Whoa.
Whoa. Clean. Easy, clean. Just easy. Whoa. Needs to curl up. Good shot.
Good one, Jen.
And Kathy, as we look at the standings, this is a crucial game for a lot of reasons. Not only are you number one, but then you also have an advantage too when it comes to the playoff situation.
Well, for sure. Now, things could still happen. We have lots of draws left to go, but if you stay tied and there's a three-way tie, the team that has had the better record against the opponents does get the bye into that 1-2 game, and so the advantage would be to either BC or Manitoba, whoever comes out of this one with a W.
And as we showed you earlier, Team Canada currently losing to Nova Scotia, so this is a very big game when it comes to the standings and being on top.
9-8. Clean.
Clean only.
9-8. Yeah. Yeah.
Clean. Whoa.
And with that, now the blank attempt to come from Jennifer Jones.
Okay. Get in, guys. Way to go. Yeah.
Mission accomplished for Kelly on that last stone. Will make Jennifer have to at least hit and roll out to get the blank.
Wait for...
Good at it.
Well, you talk about confidence and clutch skips and making the shots when you need to. Jennifer Jones, 5 elimination games just to get out of the province this year, and she won them all. Back are the Scotties here in Red Deer. Final stone, playing for the blank. Big scrub the whole way, makes the hit, and they will spill out. So when we come home in 10, Jennifer Jones will have hammer down by 1 here in Red Deer.
Sorry, guys. Great sweeping.
Yeah, good breath.
After the game, go to www.finaln.ca. You can enter the secret word for a chance to win a trip for 2 to see the 2013 World Junior Curling Championship in Sochi, Russia, home of the 2014 Olympic Winter Games. And the secret word is rings. Log on after the game. Brings us now to the last end, ninth end, Kathy, and you found something interesting in Jennifer Jones setting up here.
I did for sure. She cleans her rock as she always would, checks the path, cleans it off. Now normally after this, she would stand up, set and go. So far we're still normal.
Okay.
Now this is longer already. Normally she gets right down. Well, now she's cleaning the hack, tries to reset, goes down, has already probably doubled the time of setting in the hack. And the same pre-shot routine is so critical every time. So she's already lengthened her pre-shot routine. It does not make you a better thrower. She was tight on this, did not like her throw at all. She'll come down and say that after. A lesson at home. Adding more things to your pre-shot routine does not make it better. You need to stay with the same thing all the time.
It's a 1-point advantage here. Coming home in 10, BC leading 6-5. Manitoba does have the hammer, as you see. British Columbia, the yellow stones, already 2 in the house, and the final stone of the end here coming from Manitoba lead. Don't ask it.
Manitoba very comfortable with lots of rocks in play. So to play hard for the deuce here will be within their comfort zone.
No. Sorry, Don.
Good. Extra a little up, maybe.
Just wanted to tap that stone, manipulate them, but keep them still in play.
Okay.
That weight wasn't bad if it went straight back
10?
and she caught that yellow one on the
10
4-foot.
and a half.
Only went out because she
I
just
don't
got the
mind a
top.
9.5 or 10.
Okay, let's go 10.
10, okay.
Ten's a little less weight. It's a lot more predictable. Daleen would love to stick around on this shot.
Clean. Close. 9.5. Okay, you got.
Never. Right
Yeah,
off.
no.
Yep, we're up.
Okay.
And sometimes in the 10th
Poppy,
end,
kinda.
the adrenaline gets going a little bit, and you say you're going to throw a 10, and you wind up throwing a 9, 9.5, which I think is closer to what she threw, and that's why it didn't curl.
There's something right there. I got it. Whoa.
Line good. We're all there. We're heavy right now. Through. Becky. Yeah, Ben, if you're through, yeah. Yeah. Through.
No,
Yes, on the yellow. We're not there. It's not heavy enough.
Back slow.
Well, yeah, we're still on it. Go, go, go.
Whoa, we lost it.
Okay.
Trying to get it on the yellow. So is she. Could have choked that off, eh?
Do you like that?
Do you think?
What
I
do
don't
you
know.
like here?
Do you like this guy? Is
Or do you
coming
like-
around there a bad idea? Oh, we were way over on the other side of it. Sorry, guys.
Gives them another guard almost. So if you're here,
Yeah,
she
'cause
comes
if they
into
hit
it.
roll, right?
That's not really good.
Okay.
And then that's another guard.
Okay, I like this 3 then.
Okay.
Kelly just walked her team through her thought process. But anywhere you go behind that corner guard, if you're high, Jennifer hits and rolls, and now you've given her 2 guards. If you're deep, she comes on top. And if you're sideways, she hits and rolls. And so that's why she wants to protect. That stone thrown perfectly by Jackie on her first one. Top of the hearts.
Kathy, Jill's last stone, just a lack of communication or a breakdown, or they...
Well, Jill said right out of her hand, not a very good throw. She didn't feel that she'd thrown it really well. But then the communication challenge started. What kind of weight is it? At first they said it was through. So then Jennifer tried to play it on the yellow. Then they said, no, it's not. So, yeah, it's a little bit of, you know, ice reading on the part of the sweepers to judge where it will be.
Same weight. Yeah, pretty close.
Team Canada, Nova Scotia, also involved in a tight battle. You see Amber Holland looks to be shot stone on the 4-foot final stone on the way here for Heather Smith-Dacey, trying to keep her hopes alive when it comes to the playoffs.
Well, there's no guards out front, Brian, so she should be able to get to the inside of that red stone and get rid of Team Canada's stone for 2. Narsheet squeaking by the guard.
Little bit of a tap. The shooter spills out, though, and it looks to be just the one single. So a 6-4 advantage for Nova Scotia through 9. Team Canada, Amber Holland down by 2. Will have hammer in 10.
Try to stay there.
That's a lovely shot. Tap that buried BC stone back.
And what's interesting, Kathy, our feature game here on television is actually the fastest game this morning, and it usually starts a little bit later than the other games, but we will keep you up to date and won't leave you here until all the action is finished this Wednesday morning in Red Deer.
And I think that's really telling, Brian. We have had a lot of rocks in play every end, but these are 2 skips who have played for a long time. They don't tend to dither a lot about strategy.
And a big brush here. Sievertson, Armstrong trying to drag it by that guard, get by their yellow stone, and a little rub.
Good sweep, guys.
Just underthrown, Brian. She was playing to tap that stone back, and it barely rubbed the guard, and you could see she did not have the weight, even if she got by, to tap that stone back. They worked really hard out of her hand.
Either that or we make this double, roll away.
I think I like rolling on top.
You want to come look? I like rolling on top. I think I like this better.
I do too, because I think if we roll away, they're just playing the tap again.
I agree. I just wanted you to look at it. We got lots of time.
Yeah, if we can roll.
Yeah, like a 10 or board.
I like
bumper.
Yeah.
Bumper. Okay.
I think so. Do you like that kind of way?
I like that. Yeah.
They want to hit and roll right here because they know that if they don't, or if they roll away, that would be the other call, that you could play the stone here and roll here, but then Kelly Scott's going to come down and do the same thing she just tried to do, and all of a sudden you're chasing BC again.
Okay. Bump you want, right? Okay.
Caitlin Laws slowly picked up her numbers this game. At 78% now.
Whoa. Clean. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. No, it's heavy.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
They really wanted the inside roll. That was key on this shot.
Go a little bit. Go a little bit. Go, go, go.
It was okay. Yeah, it was good way, I thought.
What was it?
Playing the double.
Sherry Fraser has come in for a ill Sasha Carter, throwing third stones this morning.
Yeah. Clean, clean. Let it work a bit. Clean. No.
Whoa.
Whoa. Shooter's gonna bounce.
Playing the double.
Shot hard. Get it. Go, 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 go. Hard. Right over, right over.
And that red stone will still stick around to be shot.
It's normal.
Oh, good. Okay, it's good. I get it.
And just moments ago on sheet A, New Brunswick a 5-4 advantage on Team Ontario. Final stone here for Tracy Horgan. Young team out of Sudbury, all Scotties rookies. There you see the situation in the house. New Brunswick. 2 red counters, hits the one, a bit of a roll.
Okay, it's not bad.
Ooh.
Okay, we can go a little. Fight the four. Wait close. You gotta go.
It goes to a
line.
measurement.
Fight the four, guys. Line. You gotta go. You gotta go.
Well, they measure. Caitlin trying to bury and get to the top 4.
Jennifer Jones out to help sweep in her feature game. They won't bury it, but they are 1 and 2. Meantime, the measurement continues on sheet A. So it looks to be one yellow.
Knock up the one, maybe.
Yep.
What did you time that?
I have 16 on it. Okay. I think it'll be the same as it's been the whole game.
That's been Jackie's top fours. I think we'll go out to there. Okay.
All right, Cal.
Let's get a security rock in there, like even if we're back 4 but buried.
Okay.
That's okay. All right. Got more ice than yours, Jackie. We can maybe go a hair less.
She'd love to make a great one, but you can hear her
15,
say, even if she
14,
comes down
yeah,
to the back one.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure that Jennifer Jones isn't lying 2 at the end of this. If Kelly Scott has to play the extra, she's prepared.
Kelly Scott, 81% this morning.
7.
So if you can let it work a little,
Okay,
guys.
line's good.
Off the line now.
Close the line.
Clean it. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, line.
Yes.
Line's good.
Room. Oh. Line's perfect.
Sit down. Sit down. Sit. Sit.
Nice job, shot, Cal. Good
And
job.
for now, yeah, BC lies 1.
Nice shot. Nice right, Cal.
Deep.
It's been a great game so far, Kathy. Time for the game story.
Well, some key ends in the late part of this game. In 7, Jennifer had the chance for 2, but only got 1. And then the big shot for Kelly Scott. Facing 4, she hits and sticks for 1 when Jennifer wasn't able to roll. And again, we talk about the history between these 2 women at skip positions. The edge has been to Kelly Scott in the percentages, and it continues that same trend today.
And the game story is brought to you by M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle. And an update to this game story as Manitoba has called a timeout.
Well, either I go here, or I just tap that to there, and then I try to roll my shooter here.
So if she comes around, we have a short run.
If I go here, I don't know how we get to the guard. And then I got to draw this side of the floor side. Well, I'm trying to be shot. You like here better?
I like that better, but I do hear you about how we get. Yes, I hear that.
What do you guys like?
You like the shot?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I like it too. I mean, I like the shot.
If I go here, I still have this. Like, she can't guard that.
No.
What do you like?
Yeah.
How much do I have of that 6? A little piece. Half?
Oh, sorry, yeah, like,
My biggest fear is if we just tap this and we go here and then we give her this,
Yeah.
we're losing the game.
True, yeah.
What do you guys like?
we go here. She has to play it soft enough to not, like, she has to stick here, right?
What do you like?
I don't mind that.
I think that tap, too many things can go wrong. If we open it up, I think we got to draw.
Okay, I like the draw too.
I only have half of it, Caitlin, and I'm really worried that in order to tap this to here, I need back 4, and then I'm worried I'm going to leave her a hole. And if she ever comes in here, like I think here, I still will always have this.
Yeah. I'm liking that too, Jen.
So just nibble the 4?
Yeah, just to be shot. Half, quarter in the 4. About there.
You know.
Okay.
Well, some great discussion. They called Janet Arnott, former world champion, as a player and, of course, a member of Jennifer's team over the years that they have won. The big discussion was one of 2 shots. Do you move this stone here and play the tap?
Yes.
That's the risk that Jennifer takes and does not like it. If you're able to tap it straight back, then you're shot. But it's that discomfort that if you open it up, Kelly Scott gets another one in there, and then how do you find a way to win? And so this is the straight draw.
Anybody get hers?
I did not, actually.
14-8, I think.
Okay.
14-6, sorry. Okay.
More traditional set for Jennifer.
Jennifer Jones, Team Manitoba, down by 1 here in 10 with hammer. Jennifer's first.
Wait on me! No, we gotta go, sorry. Wait on me!
Take a look, John, take a look.
Gotta move!
No.
Gotta move! Whoa!
No, it's all there. It's
Whoa!
all there.
Whoa! Whoa!
And it settles, just biting the button as Manitoba lies 1.
Sorry, Dan.
Now there's a big fan, Mr. J, Larry Jones.
I can't always
Nobody
see
has
when we're really sweeping.
had more rocks come at him.
Pretty good, I think. A little foot higher.
Goes with Jennifer on a very regular basis.
Jam
Can we
there.
play for the forest here by just freeze? Sure.
I don't think so, because she
Oof, I think she
you
could
can't
tap
get
it
to the
for
nose,
2.
and then she could just nail it on the nose and.
Because that would have a
piece.
piece of the 12-foot.
She could tap.
She has room.
So I just have to sit on her then.
Just here, Jer?
Guard or drop it.
Or I try to come in this way. Because right now she can
sit
come
on
to
it.
the top. I know, I was just wondering how I could get more of the 4-foot. Huh. Yeah, I don't think we can leave her the bump. Because that's going to maybe save her a bit too. Sit on her and take our chances.
Freeze.
That's. What if we put it top 12?
Are we just there then, hey?
What if we bump that a bit? Okay, so what if we bump that and kind of roll to there? I think then she'd run the double, right? She'd just be able to nose that.
We have another $10.
So the problem is if we keep the line so it doesn't jam, I think she could, as long as we can't let her get in off it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Almost this kind of line, Daleen. We kind of had it.
So you want to be like just to a quarter of this, eh?
Yeah. Okay. Out a little further, I think, would be there, right? A little bit more than...
Well, a great explanation by Kelly to Jerry and to us, quite frankly, about her concerns. And because Jennifer came deep enough in the 4-foot, she knows that if Jennifer comes down on top of that stone, that she would be lying 1 and 2. You can see that. And so they want to play the corner freeze. Even if they tap it a little bit.
Take away a bit of the 4-foot draw.
Take away the
And
4-foot.
be
Because
locked
you can
on
see
to
that
it a
red
little.
guard on the left-hand side. It is so far out there. She's kind of thinking that to get to the 4-foot to be shot could be tough with that turn if that's all she leaves her for her deuce.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Pretty nice. Sure did. Got 15 on hers. Is that what you guys got?
Yes.
Well, they've met 9 times in the Scotties before. This woman right here, Kelly Scott, a 5-4 record against Jennifer Jones.
Line's good.
Her final stone here in 10, without hammer, up by 1.
Line's good. 5. Line's good. Line's good. 5. Just to a roll.
Armstrong, Fraser, guiding the stone in.
Yeah. Right to it.
Trying to play on Jennifer's red rock. A little bit of tap. And now, can Jennifer Jones find a way to get 2 for the win? Speaking of wins, it is handshakes over on Sheet D. Alberta with a victory over Saskatchewan, 9-8 the final. And that means they improved to 5-3. Heather Nedewin and her team from the Saville Sports Center. There you see the updated standings. Saskatchewan now at 4-4. Lots still to be decided. And as mentioned, we will keep you up to date on all the action until every complete game is finished here from Red Deer on this Wednesday morning.
No, we just need about half in the 4-foot.
A little more than.
I think that's easier.
think it's one and the same, maybe.
I think it's one and the same time. You just made the draw.
Manitoba,
Yeah,
their
I'm thinking
second
just
time out of
draw.
90 seconds.
Then I don't have to worry about
I
line.
have a hard time getting
right?
attention.
Like, I have to worry about line, but I would think for the tap, I'd take about there. This is Jill's shot, right?
Right, yeah.
I can almost get...
You're thinking the top or the...
Yeah. It looks easier.
I like it. I like the draw.
Yeah.
No, you just made it.
I just
Yeah,
threw
that's
it,
true, yeah.
I know the ice for this because Jill played it.
Yeah, that's true, too.
I'm thinking this.
I like the draw.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me ask Janet her
We had
opinion.
one
Janet
here,
likes the
right?
draw
There.
better. There's less margin of error for sweeping. The sweepers have a job, and that is to take the rock to the forefoot. Jill and Dawn have done that a number of times today. It's not about line and tapping and angle. And so there still is enough of that forefoot that Jennifer can get to for the deuce and the win.
Let's go, Jen.
That same weight should be perfect,
that
hey?
was perfect.
You guys were kind of on-off of it?
Yeah. Let's go.
Well, they traded singles early on. They traded deuces late in the game. And now a chance for Jennifer Jones.
Sweep for the tee regardless.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the line should get there. Does that look like too much?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Do you want a little less or no?
No, it should be okay, I think. Maybe a hair less. Yeah.
Let's go, Jen.
So paranoid now.
Yeah, let's take time.
Talking about the hack. That's where, of course, she lost one earlier in this game.
Yeah.
Picked up some pretty serious debris.
So it comes down to this. Jennifer Jones. Final stone here in 10.
Close.
Line's good.
It's all you.
Line only right now.
Knows she's at least got extra hands, but this for the win. Needs the forefoot.
Whoa!
Line only.
Got it, Pearl. They'll get off.
Line's great.
Ask an officer walking it in. Needs to curl, needs the brakes, but it slides a little bit too far. So it is one for Team Manitoba. Frustration for Jennifer Jones, but we are going to 11th end here in Red Deer. 6-6 after 10. BC, Kelly Scott has the hammer when we return.
The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by Scotties, proud supporter of women's curling for over 30 years.
A must-win situation this morning for Heather Smith-Dacey and Team Nova Scotia, taking on Team Canada. Amber Holland trying to fight back in this game. 10th end, final stone. She needs 2 to force extras and take it to 11. There you see Jolene Campbell on the left, filling in for Tammy Schneider, who's under the weather as well. As Amber Holland makes the hit, there's the 2, and they are also going to overtime here at the Scotties this morning. They're tied up at 6. It will be Nova Scotia with the hammer in 11. Meantime, on sheet A, New Brunswick at 4-3, Ontario at 3-4. Andrea Kelly throwing the final stones for Team New Brunswick. Rebecca Atkinson holding the broom, drawing in to pick up 1 and the victory. Andrea Kelly, a lot of experience here at the Scotties. All hands on deck now for the brushing. There you see Jill Babin sweeping hard. Out comes Atkinson to help. Jeanette Murphy brushing, and they're just fine, finding the forefoot. So how about New Brunswick, another victory as they improve to 5-3. Ontario and Tracy Horgan falling to 3-5. A very busy Wednesday morning and lots on the line. When we began competition, everyone still had a chance to make the playoffs. Team Canada 5-2, BC 5-2, Manitoba 5-2, Alberta a win. They're at 5-3. New Brunswick, their victory also puts them to 5-3. Lots to be decided here in Red Deer. And we have 2 games still underway on the ice here at the NMAX Centrium. Our feature game, Manitoba and BC. Jennifer Jones was trying to draw and grab enough of that forefoot for the 2. It wasn't to be. They pick up the single. So we're all tied up at 6 here. Extra ends in Red Deer. Kelly Scott and Team BC with the hammer.
Slow motion.
Jennifer doing a great job of sweeping that stone right out of play. And so because you cannot remove your opponent's stone, you will replace that stone back to where they feel it was more or less.
You know,
so she's got one guard. Asking Dawn now for a tighter guard. We'll want to have a lot of separation between the 2 guards so that it'll be very tough for BC to get rid of both of them.
I gave it some, girl. Gave it some, guys. Okay. Sovereign, not yet. No, you're fine. Wait only. Make sure you're tight.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Hard, guys. Go.
Come on, Dilly. Come on, keep her going, keep her going, keep her going.
Keep going.
That's a great pair by Dawn. I do this drill with my junior boys team all the time of throwing a 1 and a 3, and whether you do the tight one and then the long one and the short one, it is not that easy. You would think it would be. She is very, very good at it.
Yeah. Gotta go, guys. Yep. Clean. Yep. Hard. Hurry. Hurry. Go. Hurry. Go.
Jackie Armstrong
Go.
playing the tick.
Go.
Jennifer again will try to get this stone out of play.
That is a beautiful shot.
That's well done. That's as good as it gets. She also rolled her shooter way over to the boards there. You see it?
Look at she's come back. I'm like, okay.
Well done. A lot of teams play it across the face of the stone. They play it into the stone. And so for Jennifer, she wants to try to get it to the boards and realizes it won't. And of course, Kelly jumping on their own stone, trying to get it out of the way as much as they can.
And for those not familiar with the 4-rock rule, if that red stone would have hit the side, then they would have been allowed to replace it. But a perfect shot to open things up for BC.
Stop rim.
Easy, guys. Are you sure?
For line 2. No, make it good. Rim.
Line, lots of line. Careful, guys. Careful.
Make it good.
I think it's lots. Whoa.
Top button.
It's all there.
Sit. Nice shot, Jill. Good.
Oh.
Just that 1 foot extra weight. And so Kelly will now peel.
Daleen Sievertson.
No.
Scotties rookie.
No.
And you hear Kelly right out of her hands. Well, option B, pretty lucky to get the stone off the button, but not with hit called.
Well, and you know what? We've seen a lot of that this week from a number of teams that when they go to throw the big weight, they're just, their last movement is back, and the Rocks run so straight with big weight, and so they're not being given very much ice, and rightly so. And so any movement back is not going to move for you. She got fortunate to get the back one.
Okay, weight's all there, I think.
She knows
Wait
it.
only.
I think it's a little less.
You think a part of that, Kathy? Scotties rookie on national TV, extra ends in the hack, maybe a bit more adrenaline. You need to really settle yourself, or is she beyond that by now, you think?
You know what? I don't know that you're ever beyond it, but I've seen a lot of that from different teams and some of those veteran teams. And so it just is one of those things that when you're throwing peel weight, you still need to execute and throw it at the stick. And when you put that extra weight on, the tendency sometimes is to pop it.
Well, she's holding her own with the veteran officer. Sievertson, 81%. Officer, 74% this morning.
A very nice shot by Jill there.
No. Better. You can clean it. You can clean.
No!
Good.
That one successful.
4 feet.
Okay. You got it.
Man, those aren't coming out nice.
You heard Jennifer yell 4 feet. It's not just throwing a guard anywhere. If you throw long guards on this ice, we've seen a great shot by Jennifer earlier this game. You can get right around stones and tap them back. So she wants Caitlin to be within 4 feet because then that shot to catch the swing is not there.
We can go halfway. Line's really tight. Line's good.
No, line's good. Got to curl, actually.
Gotta move.
Sweep for tight, guys. Tight for line. Needs to be tight for line.
Really gotta move.
Got to cross center.
Hard.
Come on, guys.
Hard.
Come on, Dawn. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go, line. Go, 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 go. Okay, good. My fault, Caitlin.
Not from a lack of effort. They gave it everything.
They sure did.
And a nice peel from Sherry Fraser, filling in for Sasha Carter, still under the weather.
Better line on this one.
Good one.
Good brush.
Hey, Caitlin.
Whatever you want to throw.
Nice shot, Caitlin. Thanks.
I don't mind the top if you like it, but if you'd rather peel, that's fine.
That's pretty good guard, Cal. I don't mind taking it one more.
Okay, I was thinking it was fairly high.
Okay, let's take the top.
So we'd get some...
let's chop it.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Kelly's concerned about where that stone is. If that stone is anywhere else but where Jill put it, they're probably not worrying about it and they're peeling the guard. But for Kelly right now, if Jennifer's team continues to throw guards and we're down to Jennifer's 2 stones, she's going to have to move that stone. And she figures now that she's on her 3rd second stone, this is the time to get it off of the hearts.
8.
Do you like the call, Kathy?
9.
You know, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. If she had more of it last time, she could have played the tap and left the guard. This one's really tricky. If you're going to miss, you need to clunk the guard.
And it's hanging out there. Needs a big finish here.
It's just not bending.
Okay, Cher.
Good throw, Sherry. Guess it's just the weight, hey?
Yeah. She's gonna have to run that. I gave you there for the guard. Think in there? Yep.
So we'd mention another game still underway here on this Wednesday morning. Team Canada and Nova Scotia also going to extra ends. Nova Scotia has the hammer. So this is Amber Holland's final stone.
It's all line.
Trying to make Heather Smith-Dacey
I think so, but it's all line, like tight's okay,
use her
right?
final rock. You see the yellow stone there in the top 8.
Top 8, or I'd like to be top 4.
They need to be shot to force Heather to for her final one.
Go, 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 go. Hard. Okay.
And did it spill in enough? It did not.
I don't think so.
So Heather Smith-Dacey does not need to throw her final rock, and it's handshakes. And she improves to 3 and 5. Team Canada falling to 5 and 3. And that is back-to-back tough losses for Team Canada, of course, last night to Quebec and now to Nova Scotia.
Well, for Jennifer, just wants to seal the deal here. Already in a great spot, a spot that Kelly Scott is going to have to tap back.
Not bad. Pull,
Needs to get around the guard.
Make it good, guys. Top 4. 8 foot. Almost.
No, it's not a curl.
Weight's good.
It's not curling.
At the end. Gotta go a little.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hard.
Really hard. Go.
Sorry. Jen.
Yeah, not bad.
Here more.
So with that victory for Nova Scotia, here is now the situation. You see Team Canada falling to 5-3. More importantly for Nova Scotia, they keep their hopes alive with a 3-5 record. It is very close to here in Red Deer. Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
And now Kelly Scott in a bit of a mess here. She does have hammer here in the extra end. But there you see Manitoba lying to, plus that guard that she's going to try make a play on. Eliminate some of the damage here.
Well, for Kelly Scott, she has no way to get to the hearts whatsoever. That was a very good stone place by Jennifer. There's no way to even come around and tap it and worry about getting shot on the next one. Needs to run the front back, hoping to move a whole bunch of granite.
Kelly Scott, her first here in 11.
Close. No.
Yeah.
No. Yes! Yes!
Run the guard back.
Catch it.
Just missing the stone on the hearts, and it is still Manitoba lying 1.
What a nice try. She almost makes that perfectly. Good call by them. Hits us. Watch how little she misses that stone by. Even if she's able to move it off and it's in the forefoot, but off the heart, she gives herself a shot. Just misses.
And with the ice in the house so active, that would have definitely moved enough to give her an opportunity. And now it's going to be tough.
Or here even.
Jen and Arna coming back out. Team's got an extra timeout in the extra end.
Same thing.
I like it. Yep. I didn't really need you to come. I just didn't want to rush, but sorry. Yeah. I think we want to go right to it. Do you like to freeze it?
That's important that your coach get exercise in the morning along with the rest of the team.
She said it was a nice walk. There you go.
Same ice?
That looks good to me. Okay, you got it, Jen.
A smart play for Jennifer. You've got that timeout. Why not utilize it just to stop the clock and so that you've got time? She's just thrown this shot. Needs to do the same thing twice.
Score, Jen.
Okay, freeze it.
Yep.
Hey, Jen.
Same weight?
I think so.
Yeah.
Jennifer Jones.
This might be her last.
4-time Scotties champ.
You can't.
It's close.
Can't.
I like to go when we
Forced
can.
extras here with BC.
No, you can't.
Final stone here at 11.
Line only.
Line's perfect. Whoa.
Line only. No.
All there.
No, then.
All there. All there. No, all there.
No.
All there.
No.
No.
Doesn't want to set up the double.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's good, Jen.
And now what does Kelly Scott have left?
Great weight.
She's got the other turn.
I think that rock slide's way
Yeah,
further.
sure. Yeah.
Because I thought I had the same.
Yeah. Slide's better, I guess, Jen. Yeah, you're right. I just keep getting lower splits on her, but
That rock I thought I had less. I was thinking throw tight guard. Sorry.
I think it's a little straighter maybe. Because she had a
14-6.
Yeah, but it's I don't even want to.
Now BC feels that there's no way to get around the out-turn side.
I'm going to throw that peel again just because
exact same
we
throw.
saw it. Yeah.
She's going to hit it on the nose, drive it straight back. She's just thrown it this time. If she makes contact with the red one in the house, both should go. Still a very tough shot.
Well, Kathy, she told us in the fifth end break she loves the competition. She gets up for these games and loves playing the best of the best. 11th end, final stone. BC's Kelly Scott attempting a tough run back for the win. And it's not to be. A steal of 2 for Jennifer Jones as the 4-time Scotties champ battles back and picks up a crucial victory here on this Wednesday morning.
Good game, guys.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, guys.
8-6 the final for Team Manitoba.
I'm getting lower splits consistently, but it did slide.
As Jennifer Jones continues to roll as we get closer to the playoffs. And only 4 will get there. And here's a look now at the updated standings after action this morning. Manitoba with that victory, not only, if it comes down to it, secures a tiebreaker against BC, but they lead now overall with 6-2. BC drops to 5-3, as does Team Canada with their loss. They're at 5-3. Alberta wins. They improve to 5-3. Same with New Brunswick. Still lots to be decided here in Red Deer, but for now, a sigh of relief for Team Manitoba. An 8-6 victory. We'll have more from Red Deer right after this.
The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Canadian Curling Association. By M&M Meat Chops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle. And by Roll Up the Rim to Win. It's time for Tim.
Well, this afternoon on TSN, Vic, Linda, and Russ will bring you this matchup. Quebec, Alberta, Marie-France LaRouche at 4-3, Heather Nedwin at 5-3. You can watch that one today at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time right here on TSN. Just 2 days remain when it comes to round-robin play at this year's Scotties in Red Deer. The standings still very tight thus far, but one team remains on top right now, and that would be Team Manitoba. Thank you for watching, everybody. On behalf of myself and Kathy Gauthier, we'll see you again this afternoon.